And we are live, man. We are live. What's cracking with y'all, man? Shout out to everybody out there. Not doing any intros today. What's up, BGS? How you doing, man?
Tell me about it, Doc. I
Man,
heard.
the snow on the ground up here, man.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's cold here, man. 65 degrees.
Oh man, fuck that bullshit, man. Fuck that. No, but it's I can't complain, man. It's just a little snow on the ground and it's a little cold out there. You know what I'm saying? And so emptying the trash, man. You track snow in the crib and all that kind of shit, but it's all to the good.
That's what y'all get, man, for winning the Super Bowl against the 49ers. That's the
Well, we
first
didn't
time they
win.
did.
I mean, St. Louis ain't got no team, man. So, our team went to LA, man. Fuck you again, man. Our squad went to LA, man.
Yep, yep.
So, but that's where they came from. So, we rented them for a few years, and the
Yeah,
stadium,
y'all
they
had a
want us
Super
to.
Bowl. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Super
we
Bowl.
won a Super Bowl. They wanted us to basically buy a new upgrade the stadium,
Mm,
and they had started to kind of lose because the team was separated because of the Super Bowl,
okay.
and the city just doesn't have the revenue to upgrade to the same degree, like say for example, LA can. It just doesn't have the ability to do it, and it was a lose. So they went where the money was. Can't blame them.
Well, that's how y'all got them in the first place. Y'all was built a stadium for them, so that's why she left in the first place.
Yeah, man.
And
But
when she died, she said, "We're gonna bring." They said, "We're gonna bring the team back."
yeah, and look, they came back,
Mm.
and
And
so
I
now y'all got two squads for real.
in the same stadium. Hey, yeah, I got to see you some pictures of the stadium.
It must
Nice.
be high tech, man.
It is. It is. It is very high tech. It almost doesn't look like a stadium.
Right. Look like some sort of
Yeah, it's some like spaceport or something like that.
yeah, man. I assume so. But yeah, St. Louis can't shoulder that kind of cost, especially with the city not having that many residents anymore.
Yeah.
And then white folks, man, have found a way to kind of shuck off their duty from contributing towards the improvement of the infrastructure of the city by separating the county from the city. So that's what they do,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. But eventually, that it erodes the whole region. That's the whole thing that they. Well, white folks think on short term anyway.
All they trying to do is get away from Negroes, man.
You can't. Well, they becoming Negroes, so I don't know what that's gonna mean.
Well, shout out to Leon 008, man. Appreciate that. He said we won the Super Bowl. Whatever. They missed so many flags. Damn shame. Anyhow, Senior Dusty Pookie Ray in the building.
What they had nothing to do with flags, man. That's like
I,
San Francisco fired their defensive coordinator because he screwed up. He screwed up their last drive, so they fired him.
but I didn't see hardly any flags thrown in that game,
There
man.
wasn't that many flags thrown in that game. Basically, there's no excuse for it. Basically, uh, this is just my opinion, right? Okay, uh, they had already won. They had won a Super Bowl, and they're in Las Vegas for 2 weeks. They was partying, man. That's how come Kansas City played a poor first half because they were all hung over from partying for 2 weeks. So San Francisco should have blown them out the first half, but they didn't. So it's their bad.
San
Can't,
Francisco had the game in the bag, but
and
you can't let the game go to overtime.
But the thing is that uh, Kansas City all but tried to hand them that game because I know they were all high. They're all hungover. You can see it in their faces, like, "Oh shit, we don't care, man. We here partying for the Super Bowl, and we shouldn't have partied. But guess what? We got to play this game." And they waited till the fourth quarter because Kansas City didn't start playing till the fourth quarter. They really didn't.
Nah, drive the ball, and then they had a major fumble or some shit, which
Oh
was
yeah,
that's handing the game over.
yeah, yeah. It's
Um,
the game over. Yeah, they all but handed the Super Bowl to San Francisco, and they didn't want to take it. So okay, if you all want to take it, we might as well go ahead and win another one, and they did.
and they're poised to win several more if they can keep their focus, man.
If they can, if they're willing to spend enough money to keep these people intact, they can. People get greedy and they rest on their laurels, and and they say we don't want to spend no more money, and that's usually what happens when they fall off. But if they keep talent around this kid, yeah, they can win a few more.
Yeah, it's just about keeping the talent around Mahomes, man.
Yeah, that's all it is. He's a rare find. The little mulatto Superman, as I call him.
That's funny, man. Mulatto Superman.
I call him. There's a bunch of mulatto Supermans, man, out here. NBA and NFL. So.
The mulatto Superman. That's crazy, man.
Dak Prescott in Dallas. He's a mulatto, right? Mulatto Superman.
That's crazy, man.
I got a video somewhere, man, about a few years ago when talk about the rise of the mulatto Superman. I'll find it for you and send it to you, man.
The mulatto Superman, man. Who knew, man, that there were such things as these, man?
I learned from the best, man. I learned from my PhDs, man, how to coin terms.
That's crazy. That's a neologism. Take that for a new word. A neologism.
Okay, explain that.
It's logos means word, and neo means new. So neologism means a new word.
Okay,
so,
all right. I'll use that. Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's, let me stop, man. I'm part of, like you said before, man, I'm part of the proletariat now. I'm not a member of the petite bourgeoisie anymore, man.
No,
you feel me? For those that need to know.
And that's why you track it in snow when you take out the trash. Okay?
Man, I'm in the hood now, baby. You know what I'm saying? I ain't in Kansas no more.
So if you had to pick between the two, which would you pick? Petite bourgeoisie or proletariat?
I oscillate back and forth between both of them, man. Okay. That duality, that Janus-faced, capacity to go in and out of one mode into another. I fit in, it's like the poem "If" from Roger Kipling, man. I don't know if you know it.
I remember that. Yeah, the common touch. Yeah.
Yeah, man. You can, you can run with kings, but not lose your common touch, man.
Yeah. That's why the G stays with the PhD. Man.
Got to, man.
Okay.
If you can dream and not make dreams your master. But I mean, ultimately, you got to be able to talk with the crowds and keep your virtue. Or walk with kings, but not lose your common touch, man. If neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much. So, that's the heart of it, man. But anyway, let me shout out, thank you, Leon, man. Appreciate that donation, that token of appreciation, bro. Appreciate that. Shout out to Adria Kapoy, the urban naturalist apothecary. Shout out to Captive Sojourner. Shout out to Grab Second Gear Eddie. Shout out to Paul Wilson. What's good with you, man? King, what's going on? Samada66, what's cracking with you? OX Hermes, what's going on? Blackout 300 was cracking. Milton Patton was good. How y'all doing this Sunday afternoon? Anyway, man, let's get to these videos, man.
All right.
I'm a little under the weather right now. I know you probably can hear it in my voice. I sound a little bit nasal. Mm-hmm. But we're going to do this, man. So let me get rid of this comment real quick.
As a kid, I never really understood the reason why my mom behaved the way she behaved after she got off from work. I don't want to hear shit when I got off from work. I don't want to hear no noise. Don't ask me no questions. Don't even call me after I get off from work. I couldn't imagine coming home to two badass kids talking about what we finna eat after I got off from work. I just couldn't imagine it. I just got off from work today, and I want nothing more to come home to a quiet house. I don't even want nobody to say, how was your day at work? That's just how long my day was. My mom used to hide in the car when she got off from work and just listen to music. I used to be like, why is she doing that? I just got out of the car. I've been in there for 30 minutes trying to conjure up the energy and the mic to go in the house. Because it's just like, that's all I can say about my day at work. Like, I'm tired. Like, don't ask me no questions. Don't even speak to me. I don't got time for that. It takes me about 2 to 3 hours to adjust, and by that time it's time to go to bed.
Yeah. Walk a mile in your moccasins, huh?
I don't know, man. When I saw it, I thought like, well, is he turning into a little gynocrat himself? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it doesn't look like you going to work in the factory, or it doesn't look like you going to work at FedEx.
It could work with the public, man. So if he works in a store or works in a place where that's a place where the public is interfacing, they can get on your nerves.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
This is true, man.
You could be a manager at the store or something like that. So
yeah, he could be.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think your disposition should remain constant over time, man. I mean, I know that there are things that, kind of irritate you, but in my viewpoint, I think it's wrong for you to take your work to your house and your house to your work. And I understand it.
The thing is trying to transition, okay?
Yeah.
And sometimes the transition doesn't work that well because the little demons be hanging on to you when you go to work and vice versa. So
yeah. I just,
I understand what he's saying, though. In other words, he's understanding what his mother or any parent goes through, okay? Because as a child, you don't understand because you haven't been there until you're put in the same position and said, oh, now I get it, okay? Because I feel the exact same way that dad did or exactly the same way that mom did. Because a lot of guys get off from work or whatever, and they sit in the car, man, with a beer when they go in the house. So that's not unusual.
Yeah. I ain't gonna say I ain't never done it, especially if you're going into a hostile house with a hostile ass woman, man. You know what I'm saying?
They don't even have to be hostile, man. It's just you're not ready to take on those burdens or that what I call emotional labor, of wife and kids, even if she's normal, okay, just normal person, right? When you walk in and the kids need something because they haven't seen you, they want to embrace, they want to interact. And same thing with your woman, and you haven't shaken off the old stuff from the job that you just left, going through traffic and shit like that. So your nerves are on edge. So I understand. So that's what all he's saying. What he's saying is he appreciates his mother now.
Yeah, for sure. And all the shit that she had to do in order to deal with them as little boys being wild around the house, crazy, or little girls, whatever.
Just needing what they need. You walk in, they have to eat, they have to do homework. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you have to get set to actually sit down and do. So I understand. So
and also, me, I'm just, I don't know, man. I'm kind of like the type of guy, if the shit got to get done, let's get to it. It better do it now than wait 2-3 hours to do it, and then I don't have any of the energy at all. You know what I'm saying?
You can get to it and get it done, but your attitude might not be the best while doing it. So
right. That's true. That's true. I don't know, man. What was it? My one of my family members used to say this all the time. Don't ever be too lazy to do some shit for yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was just thinking, I was thinking just before I got on, man, how many years and how many weekends I gave up for my children because they were in activities, right? And I had no weekends for about a good 8 years. So
right.
It was all dedicated to them. So I understand. And and they grow up and they don't appreciate it until guess what? Now they have children. Now I get it, Dad.
Right. So let's push on to the next one, man. Just thought that something simple to start with.
Oh yeah. That's pretty simple. I'm just laughing. Okay. Oh, you walking in your parents' moccasins now, and now you understand them.
For sure.
Yeah.
Man, would you take a house husband?
What?
Would you take a nigga where you provide everything and you just clean the house, make sure you're good, drop off a good peen, put gas in the car?
No, I would not.
What if you make a fire souffle?
And he's completely unproblematic.
All
Friend,
green
and
flags. He just ain't got
leave you completely pleased and happy, house clean, food great,
Never
good
have to worry
conversation.
about a single thing in your life.
But the nigga don't provide no bread.
Really
like a good guy.
Your dick game is crazy.
If he has all of this going on, especially the ability to cook, you have not found a way to.
He lazy. He
Nope.
can't manage his
Right
money.
there. Right
Bad
there.
money management.
No. Forget that. Because even with that, because like she said, if he is a good cook,
Yeah, he could
be a
parlay
chef.
being a
Maybe
chef,
you
but
don't want to work.
He's just like I said.
He just wanna
lazy.
love.
His
His
2K my player is at like 88. He got to get that shit up. He just want to lock in. If I was a girl, I want to fuck with him.
No.
All right, BGS, man. You can start that one off.
In other words, and this is the thing that I've been going over for the past year, right? Especially with the red pill with white women. Okay. In other words, that's why I think feminism will fail because they put you in a position to be a man. Okay.
Right.
And you don't want to take up that role. You don't want to take up that mantle. So eventually, for society to actually work, they're going to have to take shit from you because you don't want to do the job. In other words, okay, we put you in the C-suite. Okay, you're working 70 hours a week. Okay, but the thing is that your kids are going to suffer because there's nobody at home. So eventually, this stuff is going to break down. And what man is going to actually go and go for that deal? Why do I need you?
Yeah, the way I look at it, you're in the wait in. Because there aren't like an infinite number of jobs and appointments to professional schools.
Yeah.
There's not an unlimited amount of seats open to kids going to college. There's competition for these things.
Yes.
But they demand to be in the competition pool. But if you're in the competition pool, then, what's the purpose for you being there other than to demonstrate that, like, I'm better than you while I'm there? Like, I mean, the function over time has always been, I'm doing this and I'm going to share what I'm doing with my family.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, and I don't think the society does a good enough job about how, for somebody like you, even though you pay a certain amount of money, the resources that it takes to make somebody like you, okay, a PhD, that's very costly to the society, right? And if that investment doesn't get paid back into society, then what do they do it for? I say that with women. You got this PhD that took 8-9 years, and it's not just the money you put in. Society has to put tons of money into the process of making somebody like you. And if you don't pay that debt back to society, then guess what's going to happen? That could have gone to somebody else that's going to have a 40-year career. Okay, that's actually contributing to society. And if you don't do it, guess what's going to happen? It's going to fall apart. That's what's happening. It's falling apart.
And my whole thing is, you want the glory that comes along with being a man, so to speak.
Yes.
But you don't want to do the dirty work that is associated with being a man. You just want the benefits of masculinity, but you don't want to take on the burdens of it.
Yes.
You still want options. You want to be able to opt out of being a masculine woman when you feel like it, but then you want to be able to go right back into it. This is what gender fluidity really is all about.
Okay.
The ability to oscillate back and forth, or to kind of like treat moving from one role to the next is something that, is liminal, or like, like in limbo.
So in other words, you're building a societal structure on mud that's fluid, that can shift and go back and forth. What's going to happen to the basic structure when the base that it's built on keeps shifting?
And this is why Kevin Samuels, like a person like him, would always say, why would a man who's making, a shit ton of money give a fuck about your career?
Right.
It's not to say that the career choice in and of itself has no value. It's not lacking of substance, but as it pertains to your relationship with a high value man, it really actually means nothing.
No. Because
you don't feel like you have to contribute towards the upkeep of a family apart from how you feel like it. I mean, like, for example, this woman, I mean, I don't know how much money, that woman is worth. Jessica, I forget what her last name is. I just can't remember her name. But the whole point is, she used to be a supermodel. Now she's definitely a public figure who's still able to draw in some money from whatever kind of, things she's doing, in her hustle. Mm-hmm. And, but you're not willing to actually share that with no dude, because to you, that's breaking the roles.
Okay.
So and then the question is, well, what good is it that you make men like uphold traditional values, but you just refuse to fucking like be a traditional woman at all? You want men to be more obsequious and toady to you and what the fuck you desire.
Right.
But you still want that man to be able to do everything that men have always done, that so-called quote unquote made them men. I just think it's fucked up. It's dumb to me.
Okay, yeah. Well, then that's like you're not married, and that's like you don't have a family because you don't fit in that structure, and that's fine. But stop trying to demand something that's not available.
And this is the important thing. A lot of people would call Kevin Samuels misogynistic, misogynistic, and so on and so forth. He's disrespectful to women. And the only thing I would say is just go back and listen to what the fuck the women are saying.
Mm-hmm.
Just listen. Yeah, Melissa Ford, that's her. Like,
Oh,
just go back and listen to what those ladies are actually saying.
Yeah.
And why would a man who has a good career fuck around with a woman who's just basically demanding everything and has got a fucking attitude all the time? Demands for you to be a complete equal with her, but then to serve her at the same time as a traditional woman. It's just, I don't understand it.
Because she's not traditional. So, you know, you're not a traditional woman. You want a traditional role and you don't know how to do it. You know.
That's the point. They want a traditional man doing traditional shit, but on their terms.
Yeah. I want to work iron, but I'm afraid of a welding torch. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you?
I just don't understand how. Like I said, there's a limited amount of positions, and women demand that they be able to occupy them, but at the same time, they want a traditional man to be able to foot the fucking bill. I'm like, why are you this high-powered attorney and you won't take on a husband and take care of your fucking family? You want the position, but you don't want the responsibility associated with the position. It's
they claim socialism, okay, but they actually practice capitalism, okay, because they want a bifurcation of society. They want a high-value man to go along with their high-value jobs, and everybody else gets in where they fit in. So basically, they're not trying to bring the society together. They try to separate it for their own aggrandizement, right?
I call it a more popra. All that shit is a more popra, man.
Okay, yeah.
I did a show on this a long time ago. Like the whole point of it, and it's, you know, when you asked me about the social contract and Rousseau, this is just people jockeying for recognition inside of the culture, okay, and trying to set themselves apart from their peers, or
yeah, they are.
And it's not a substantive undertaking. It's not like they're trying to change the world or any shit like that. This is like I want to have a certain status in the culture or the society, and at the end of the day, men used to do this shit in order to develop families, and they had no problem with footing the entire bill. And so the question is, well, why won't women, like, if they say that it's time to get rid of gender roles, then you're supposed to get rid of the gender role of actually having to be kept up.
Yeah.
Now, that's some shit they just don't want to get rid of. They want a motherfucker to keep their ass. And so the question is this actually, like, consistent? You know, like, is it coherent? I don't think it is. But anyway.
Roles for thee and not for me. That's what they...
Roles for you and not for me.
Yeah, Go ahead,
so,
get your chat.
Shout out to Leon again. Victorian woman, Tuesday, Thursday, bought bitches, Friday to Monday. And that shit does, you know, like, we were talking about this earlier, and I'm sorry because I'm a little under the weather, but women do bring the shit that they go through at work, they bring that shit home, and, you know, a lot of women are on that boss bitch shit because they can control shit at the job. They think they can come home and control their fucking man.
Yeah, well, you can if you buy him.
Yeah, you know, hey.
Yeah, there's homosexuals and pookies and they can cook a mean souffle. Anyway,
I'm gonna leave that alone, man. Blow it back out, be the service. You know, like one TV show that I want to go through. We can't watch the whole series because it's way too fucking long. But at least, if anybody wants to watch All the Queen's Men, have you ever heard of this fucking show?
I've heard of it. I never watched it. Okay.
It's produced by Tyler Perry.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I never saw it.
And the model is the girl who a long time ago was on America's Next Top Model. Her name is Eve. Okay. Marcel or some shit like that. I think I don't know her last name exactly, but
and these guys are like gigolos and strippers.
Right. So this is a queen pin. Not to say that there haven't been any madams or some shit like that, because there actually have been.
Lots of them, yeah.
But I mean, the way that this chick carries on, she is fucking basically a man with a fucking vagina, man.
Yeah. It sounds like Patty with Fannie Willis in Atlanta.
Yeah, okay.
A man with a vagina. Same thing with Ebony K. Williams. She's a man with a vagina. Go ahead, grab your super chats.
Yeah, so shout out to Leon again, as I said, man. And then also shout out to David White. Appreciate that donation, sir. He said, from Black Men, the official sponsor of the G with the PhD. Thank you for that, man. Appreciate that. Also, shout out to Louis Conyer. He says, what's up, everyone? Shout out to you, brother. Rich Turner's here. He says, the company I work for started placing women in roles traditionally held by men. The company has been nosediving since they put this bullshit in place. Every single site with women in charge is struggling.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a construction company or, I just don't know, but I would be interested in knowing what kind of company it is. I think women are perfectly capable of doing some jobs traditionally held by men. But the problem is they still want to hold on to traditional family values as it pertains to those that benefit them. They don't want to take on the role of supporting or chipping in or sustaining through their own labor a family.
No, they don't.
They don't want to do that shit. And that's the clear thing that's put out there in terms of, the whole phenomena of Kevin Samuels, if you ask me. That's what I would take away from all of that.
Even before him, go back to the Rich Respects by Liz Monday, right? She said the exact same thing. So it's been around. But the thing is that Kevin kind of brought it to the fore.
And everybody's so fucking caught up and swept up in this man, like disrespecting women and telling them what they can't have. And it's like, look, lady, just think about this shit for a minute. His overall message was to these ladies, what do you want? I want a high value man. Okay, what do you think is going to get you this man?
Yes.
Well, I got a PhD, or I'm successful, or I have a great personality, or some shit like that. And he's like, look, lady, that's not what these dudes are looking for. I talk to them all the time.
Yeah.
Okay? They want a woman who's feminine, fit, and friendly, and all this kind of shit. Like, men are, you can call them superficial, but men actually are looking for women fit enough to bear their children.
Yes.
That gets lost in the translation. Oh, well, she's big, so therefore she's, it's some sort of body shaming that's taking place. Well, maybe the man is actually looking for a woman who he thinks is able to go through the process of childbirth and come out on the other end of it without being fucking a corpse.
How many high value women you see with 300?
Hey. None. They get the pool boy.
They get the pool boy. Yes, they
or the
do.
Toy boy.
Or the toy boy.
It's just like that Jennifer Hudson chick who married some little pretty boy from Chicago and shit. Little muscular dude. Like they don't.
He was a wrestler. Yeah, he was a wrestler. Yeah.
They don't go for the wackest of the whack. They go for what they consider to be aesthetically pleasing to them.
To them, yes. Yeah.
So a man with a whole bunch of cash is supposed to just take on some obese woman with an attitude. Like, come on, man. Like, really, man? Like, and this is interesting because I read a paper a while ago, and Robert Staples was the person who wrote the paper, and it basically asserted that, like, most men who are part of the middle class or the upper middle class, they themselves are going to have traditional values associated with family life.
Yeah.
And that means that they're going to want a woman who basically not morphs, but kind of, embodies traditional gender roles. Yeah, I don't know why that's a big fat surprise. I don't know why that's alarming to people.
It's because they're not manifesting, even though they know that after you try it, that's what works. Because that non-traditional stuff, for the most part, doesn't really work. If, sooner or later, somebody's going to have to assume traditional roles if you're going to have children. That's the way it works.
And then not only that, another thing that was evidence from the Kevin Samuels phenomenon to me was that a lot of these ladies already had fucking children with men who they were in serious relationships with, but they decided to cut off that relationship in the hopes that they would get like somebody who's a fucking phantasm.
Yeah.
It's like the guy's like, go get back with the fucking guy you rejected based upon this more popra bourgeois boss girl bullshit.
Yeah, what's stopping them is pride.
But they won't do it.
Yeah.
It's like you already had your husband. What was wrong with that guy making $50,000, $60,000? What's wrong with that electrician, that plumber, or that blue collar guy who's in many instances out earning the guy who went to college?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think more than anything else, man, this is the love and hip hop culture, man. You know, the Instagram, TikTok culture where people get to see people living a certain lifestyle that, quite frankly, most of that shit ain't real itself. Most of these artists are fucking going through it, man.
Yeah.
You know, like
we've seen it lately. Okay, they've been in the news, right? Was it Tyrese? Yeah.
Well, he's just one among many, but I mean, just keep this in mind. The entertainment industry projects an image of success that might not necessarily cohere with reality.
Yeah.
For example, TLC, right? I mean, this is an old story, but I mean, nonetheless, here you got like the biggest selling black girl group of all fucking time, even more than the Supremes.
Yeah.
And they were flat fucking broke, man.
Yes, they were.
They were flat broke.
Yes, they were.
And not to say all entertainers are broke, but that's the kind of lifestyle that a lot of these women want to live. They want to live the Rob Report lifestyle. You know, look, somebody says blacks love fantasy. The fucking fantasy island fantasy.
There was something that I think was in Silence of the Lambs, right? That what's his name said, right? He said, "You covet what you see every day." So basically, on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, right? You're coveting what you see every day, even though it's not real.
Yeah, man. Hey, motherfuckers need to realize this shit is smoke and mirrors. It ain't real as it looks. It's camera angles. Even these chicks, man, like, these Instagram models are really actually fucking porn stars, dog.
They are.
If they got an OnlyFans and they're a porn star, man.
They are. Yeah.
Stop acting like, I mean, I've seen like right now all you gotta do is hit YouTube and you'll see like plus size models and like, she's a beautiful model. That bitch ain't no model, man. She's a porn star. She's a porn star. But I mean, now women have found a way to, you know, kind of take the middleman out of the porn industry.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
You know, so, you know, because it's cheaper to produce, you know, pornographic material, and the quality of it, there's not a storyline associated with porn anymore. You know, like the guy coming with a pizza box. I mean, there never really was any serious storylines to porn any fucking way. But now it's just like, okay, the woman shakes her ass a little bit. The man comes in, either he starts doing fellatio or she just starts doing it, and then, you know, the sex is taking place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, man, let's get off of that and get on to the next one, man. Yeah, they're prostitutes, high-paid escorts. I mean, they're sex workers, man.
They are sex workers, yeah.
They are sex workers, man. And they will fuck for money, man.
It's
just a fact. They will fuck for money, man.
As they graduate from one level to the next, yeah, they will. They do.
And the offering up of money, they know how much money is associated with going to the next level as opposed to just staying like clothes burning and shaking their ass and all that. They know what it is. So, and the OnlyFans fans ain't gonna stay just to see some motherfuckers shaking their ass. They gonna want to see some penetration, some sucking. They gonna want to see some motherfuckers doing some strange shit for that change.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. If you want to keep getting the money, you gotta keep giving them more and more product.
Exactly. So let's move. Let's push, man.
If your daddy ain't clap your hands.
Why you not clapping? Your daddy ain't either.
Mom, this was awful. No, regardless of how you feel about the child's dad, the fact that you would line your kids up to do this for attention, for likes and comments on social media is sad. And the fact that your daughter at such a young age would turn around to one of her siblings and say, your daddy ain't either. Why you got all these baby daddies, Mom? It would seem like the one who isn't is you.
Wow.
Man, come on, man. You got your kids lined up to do a Instagram, a TikTok, or a YouTube short. And what they're going to do is just demonstrate publicly that their fathers, whom they have made, even if they're strained, they still probably know who their fathers are.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to put them out there and say that their daddies ain't shit. Have the kids do it. It's one thing if you say the kids daddies ain't shit.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to make your kids sit there and put that energy out there, man? That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In other words, the thing is, it reflects badly on you because you picked that man to have a baby by.
Yeah.
Women don't realize that. Okay. If the baby daddy ain't shit, what does that make you?
And she got how many? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
4 of them lined up.
Yeah. This is, there's an old saying, the past is never dead and buried. In fact, it's not even past, right? This shit goes all the way back to the slave farms, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You're producing children by multiple men for the society, okay? Because you don't have ownership.
Yeah, that's a deep one, man. I remember you having a conversation about this. I mean, initially, the black woman was little more than a broodmare. I mean, not, I guess that's the wrong term, but
then they still are. They're still broodmares, okay? Because the Leviathan has ownership of your children. You just have parental guardianship over them. So because it used to be where children were actually valuable to the family because they actually produced, they actually worked, they provided labor and support and all that kind of stuff. They don't anymore. So you're raising children for what? So they can actually become citizens for the state. And,
yeah, that's
so the state is actually paying you to actually produce children for them.
That's crazy, man. Yeah. I just, but back to the initial thought, my initial reaction to this is like, how low class is it, man, to get children to say fuck their own fathers, man. But this is what parental alienation is, but there are a wide variety of scholars and activists and social workers who would argue that there is no such thing as parental alienation.
Okay.
Seriously, man. Like, I really don't have time to look it up now, but if I say, is parental alienation real?
Yeah.
There are some people who will say it's not really real. The theory of parental, look at this shit. Let me, I have to share it, bro. I have to share this.
Go ahead.
Can you see this?
Yeah.
Educate your judge. The theory of parental alienation has been debunked, denounced, or rejected by every credible organization such as the UN, the American Psychological Association, the American Medical Association, and the World Health Organization.
Yeah, that's bunk. That is bunk. That is not true.
A disputed theory with big implications. The first courtroom battle was to establish that parental alienation is real. Okay, so, but I think I try to give you this information because there is a battle taking place within the context of the academy. I'm talking about law schools. What happens, in terms of like professors having communication with one another at conferences. And this is above the social media fray. It's a battle taking place in the sky. But you're on Earth. And so to you, the battle isn't real. It's just a bunch of, elites in ivory towers saying things that aren't germane to your life.
Right.
But all of those people who are in these so-called ivory towers, they find their seats in the courtrooms, in the administrations of politicians, and in the administration of bureaucracies.
Yeah.
And then they get to determine what policy is or is not actually true, or what is, factual and what's not factual.
Yeah.
But to you, it's just like a bunch of uselessness. To me, it's like, well, you need to pay attention to what's going on above you.
Yeah, and you wonder why a generation later that boys, young men don't want to get married to have children. I mean,
Bro, I swear to God, look,
mhm.
one of the things that I think is happening is that the phenomenological experiences of men, I know that's a big term, right? But
We got to define it then.
phenomenology is basically a study of experience. Okay, that's what the science of or the philosophy of phenomenology is.
Okay.
Now, women, they get to engage in what they consider to be consciousness raising, and most of it is phenomenological. It's based off their experiences and their reactions to what they've experienced.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to men, it's assumed that all men's experiences take precedence over that of women, and so therefore, if a man gives testimony to his experience and it's not something that fits in with, or coheres with the idea of the patriarchy or how men run everything and some shit like that, then the experience is denied.
Okay, so for every woman that testifies, it's gonna take 3 men for them to be believed.
Well, I mean, what the fuck do you think believe her is, BGS? What do you think believe her means? It rests on the assumption that, like, the things that women say aren't believable, whereas the things men say are believable.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, you got to think all men's experiences are not exactly the same. And I think, shout out to Andrew Tate. I mean, he kind of viscerally stated this, but he said, look, most men are in fucked up positions. Not all men are like members of some sort of bureaucratic elite and get whatever they want.
Yeah.
Most men are fucking hacking it out in day-to-day dangerous jobs with shitty conditions, and their experiences are never really actually confirmed. And they're supposed to just take the sword, like, fall and kneel on it, and to sacrifice, and to do everything else for everyone else, and to provide utility and labor for everybody.
Yeah.
But they're never supposed to concern themselves with their own interests.
So
that's unmanly.
So that's the horse and animal farm.
Boxer,
yeah.
That's boxer.
Yeah, that's the common man.
And the question is, like, why can't there? And I think that one of the things that this society is going to have to contend with is male phenomenology, especially black male phenomenology. What are their experiences?
Yeah.
And to say that we don't experience, like, for a man to be told, like, as he sees, like, this shit right here, and he's experienced it himself, for someone to say, in a theoretical setting, this is not real because the UN said so. Like, fuck the UN then. I'm experiencing, like, a woman getting pissed off and saying, fuck, you can't see your kid then.
Yeah.
Or the kid being told that there's some shit about your daddy that I don't like, and I'm going to reinforce that within your psyche.
So all those court cases about men having to fight to see their children, they aren't real.
Bro, we living in a Kafkaesque society right now, man, where people in the people in the bureaucracies and the people in the academy and the people in politics get to mete out what is real and what is not.
Yeah, and so in other words, they can lie. In other words, are you going to believe me, your lying eyes?
But I think there has to be some sort of utilitarian function related to this. And you said a long time ago, like, the patriarchy's been dead since, like, I said that the patriarchy's been dead since the Custody of Infants Act.
Yeah.
Some of you guys took it a step further and said, no, actually, the Tenures Act of 1666 was the moment at which, or is it 67? I can't really recall, but it's somewhere around the middle of the 17th century where the patriarchy or the empire of the father was actually dissolved.
Yeah.
Okay. And the courts became the arbiters of what trajectory the lives of children would take.
Yeah.
Okay. Right now, I don't have the time to get into all of this. We've done this on so many different occasions.
Right.
at some point I might do a pre-recorded video related to it, so it's clear, and then you can get to it and access it quickly beyond all of the live streaming theatrics.
Yeah,
but I mean, because there's a lot, you got to dig through live streams, man.
Yeah, you do. And Candace Owens was just on what is it, on her YouTube channel, saying that the United States is a matriarchy.
Well, shit. I mean, what it is it's a fucking state-sponsored matriarchy.
It is, yes, yeah.
Okay, it's a state-sponsored situation in which women are given the tools to operate under family life without having a male present. Mm-hmm. It's just it is what it is. Mm-hmm. You call it what you want, man.
It's like I said, it's a state-run matriarchy. I call it state-run gynocracy because the women are actually in power.
And this is something I've always said. Mm-hmm. If there's two people who are the arbiters of what children do in the context of family life, mm-hmm. if there's no man there, then who's running it?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
With absolute power of, like an autocrat. Mm-hmm. I just don't see how in one situation is freedom and in the other situation it's oppression.
It's just backed up by the power of the state.
That's why they don't consider it to be oppression. Because the state doesn't decide or assert that it's oppression. And of course, anything the state asserts that's not oppressive, of course, it's not oppressive. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm tongue in cheek saying that. Okay. But anyway, man, let's move on to the next one, bro.
All right.
It's my day.
Hello?
Hey, babe.
What's up?
Nothing. She almost done. I was calling you to let you know so you could pay it.
She hooked you up?
Yep.
All right, go ahead and send me the request.
Okay. How much is it? 300.
All right, no problem. Just send me the request. I'll go ahead and send it to you right now.
Okay. All right, babe.
So that's not right.
Girl,
just be honest.
Because I'm finna keep 150 of that. I'm going to the mall.
Doing it every time now.
But I know, but
every time?
Every other month.
Yeah, but I don't like to do people like this. That's y'all business.
That's
and
recorded
I
too.
Girl, he ain't even gonna know. He ain't gonna know. I'm finna request it from him. He is not gonna know. Don't even worry about that. I'm gonna tip you out of it.
You better.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna tip you.
I thought you were trying to.
Oh no, I'm gonna tip you. Then I'm going to the mall.
Yeah, it's common. Very common.
Now, that's crazy, man. Like, well, first of all, we already know who ratted on her ass. It's got to be the girl in the chair recording the fucking conversation. I mean, that's the only. I know she didn't record herself doing that shit, know. But I mean, here you got a man willing to take care of you, and willing to actually invest in your aesthetics. Which is more than likely a luxury for most people, on the planet. But, I guess black women consider it to be a necessity, to have their hair done every fucking month or whatever the case may be, or every other month. And we already know that this shit costs a lot of money, man. The fucking hair costs money. To have the hair installed in their hair costs a shit ton of money. To be able to maintain it costs money. Mm-hmm. But to sit there and hustle a motherfucker that's supposed to be... You want a motherfucker to take care of you, but you ain't even got the fucking respect and the decency to take care of the man by telling them what the accuracy is related to what you're getting in terms of your hair, man.
Right. Yeah.
How much the shit costs.
That's very common. Yeah.
You're going to upcharge the shit, say it costs more than what it is so you can go to the mall and blow a wad.
Yep. That's what it is. You know how long that stuff, that idea has been passed down, man, for generations, okay? By pinching off the man's dollar. I'm serious. You go to the grocery store, okay, and I've seen, and my partner had this problem with his wife, right? Go to the grocery store, and she says the groceries cost a certain amount of money, and you look at the receipt. So where's the other, $50-$60? Okay, she gets cash back, okay, $100 or something like that. It goes on the grocery receipt, okay, and they stash that money away because they've been taught that you have to stash a certain amount of money away just in case he goes left. And this is, white women used to call it pin money, right? You pin a certain amount of money away just for emergencies, or just in case he decides he's gonna leave you all of a sudden. So that's been taught for a very long time. So that's very common. It's been passed down for generations.
I just think it's fucked up. Not, if I seen that shit, she got to get kicked to the curb.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, just so you finessing me out of my bread?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm doing some shit for you. Like, obviously that chick ain't doing much for that guy. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, disposable man, disposable cash.
And nowadays, women can go out here and get the bag on their own, get their own hair and shit any goddamn way.
And they're still gonna finesse you out of your money.
Yeah, there ain't no way to stop, man. Once you hit that hot hole, man, it's finesse all the way, man. You gonna pay something.
What they say in the Wire, the game?
Game is to be sold, not told, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Let's push on to the next one before I get mad, man.
You already mad.
He said white women are taught this from an early age. This Maggie talking.
Yeah, that's Maggie. That's Maggie. Maggie's right. White women call it pin money, but black women call it the exact same thing because in a woman's mind, your being with her is always tenuous. Okay, because you can pick up and walk out at any time. She's got to have some kind of emergency money.
You said that hole cold. That's about to say that. He said that hole is cold.
When I heard that, I said, okay, this is common, man. This is what I've heard that taught to little girls. So,
wow. Shout out to Hurricane Greg, man. Appreciate that, bro.
That's why I always say, that's why I learned to listen and not judge. Okay.
Right.
So they will be open enough and actually sometimes they forget I'm even there and they just run off their mouths because they forget I'm there. And then they look up and say, "Oh shit, I just told the truth." And like
that crazy?
They you didn't hear that, did you? I said, "No, I did not."
That's crazy.
Anyway, go ahead, push on, man.
Yeah, let's push on, man.
Do you think men prefer a natural body or a BBL? BBL. 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 Do you prefer natural bodies or BBL bodies?
Natural. 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 Natural.
It seems like to me there's a disconnect in what women think men want and what men actually want.
Yeah. Because men want different things in different scenarios, right? Like men, like say, especially in social media, right? Men want the glam makeup and all this kind of stuff because it looks good on a picture. But the thing is, when a woman shows up in person, you don't want that theatrical makeup on her face. Okay, you want a natural woman. So, and sometimes they get confused because how the women that they want to be the ones who are going to show their butt on pictures and gather attention and money. That's what they want. So they think that's what men want, and it's not.
Yeah, man, motherfuckers, don't want a woman with fucking more makeup on than a goddamn clown at the Ringling Brothers Circus, man.
Yeah, but you don't want all that makeup on your clothes because that's where it's gonna go.
And so, I mean, look, I guess this is a new phenomenon, man. To me, this is the trans aesthetic, bro.
Yeah, it is.
This is a trans aesthetic, man. And I mean that literally. This is a trans woman aesthetic, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like to kind of like put your body in like cartoon proportions and shit.
Yeah.
So that you can attract, male attention.
Yeah.
But that shit ain't real, man. I mean, I guess it looks good, like you said, on camera.
Mm-hmm.
But that shit don't necessarily look good in real life. And then it's a part of a fucking trans aesthetic. And not to say that, I'm kind of like hating on them, calling for their persecution or their slaughter, which is fucking stupid by me even saying it because who's doing their makeup?
Yeah.
Who's like the persons who initiated the wearing of wigs and shit like this?
Yeah.
Who's the person who originally got all the boob jobs?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to think about this shit. Who were the ones who were initially getting all these goddamn BBLs and shit in order to morph their body into what was considered to be the ideal female type. Women never had to do that shit.
Yeah.
Because men know instinctively what the true female type is.
Yeah. Yeah. They know that that's an anomaly for a woman to have an ass, and the hip to waist ratio is an anomaly. They know it is. It's not real. And that might be fine for for a night. It might for a couple of hours, but you don't want to actually deal with that on a daily basis because it's not real.
But now it's become so normalized. I mean, all the entertainers are doing this shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, entertainers do because they need to do what? Attract eyeballs. It's business for them.
And then you got like somebody like Kanye West's mother who died because of trying to get like some sort of body modification.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What? First of all, you somebody's like 50-year-old mom. Like, what the fuck do you need that for?
Because my spiritual teacher told me a long time ago, attention is food to a woman.
Man,
she wants more. She wants that more than sex. She wants that more than money. She wants attention.
Yeah, well, all the fake ass eyelashes, the weaves.
Yeah.
To me, all of that shit is part of like a queer aesthetic, man.
It is.
And the people who developed it and who perfected it are. Yeah. So I need not say anything else.
They're basically all women want to be the it girl, and whatever the it girl is, they'll die to actually reach that kind of aesthetic.
Yeah. So let me push on to the next one, man. Sorry about the sniffles, man.
This is why Western women is mad, because look at her. She's pretty, and she's a housewife, and she takes care of 2 kids.
It's not our fault. They didn't even say that we steal their man. No, we don't steal your man. Do your man come in here?
Low blows. They're just clowning Western women right now.
And that's a short one. But I showed it because you've seen recently in the public where women have like been condescending to women from third world countries, quote unquote, and have basically said these women are uneducated, they're oppressed, they don't even know what's in their own best interest, they're barefoot, undeveloped, uncivilized. I mean, a whole bunch of negative shit has been directed their way. Or if not that, then what they do is they say that the men are engaged in sex trafficking and some shit like that. And look, sex trafficking happens everywhere, man. It happens in America, happens in the third world, it happens, in the second world, if you want to start talking about places in Europe and shit like that. Like, it ain't nothing new. But in some places, the sex industry has been legalized. Or is a normal part of the culture. Okay, it just is what it is, and so you're saying that men
illegal is a normal part of the culture. Okay, in America, it's not illegal, but it's a normal part of the culture. It has been for a long time.
But men aren't supposed to engage in it at all, but women are supposed to practice it. I mean, how can they practice it if there's no willing male participants and shit? It's like,
ain't no business, ain't no customers. Yeah, but go ahead.
But. So if a man decides to go to fucking the Dominican Republic and to have a weekend of unadulterated fun or whatever the fucking case may be, if he wants to blow his money on a hooker or a prostitute or whatever, call girl, escort, whatever the fuck he wants to do, what's the problem with it? Because you got these chicks going to goddamn Jamaica doing the same goddamn thing. And that's why I've made reference to like Raw a long time ago. Eddie Murphy, where they go meet Dexter or some shit like that.
It's the St. Jacques, yeah.
But when they do it, it's not exploitation, it's not trafficking or any other kind of negative epithet related to exploitation and sex. But if men do it, that's a problem. You even had that. That's why I said I made a fucking short a long time ago where it was like, okay, so it's cool for a woman to get a passport, go fucking get some young gay ass boy Which is what she did. She got a boy who basically exploited her because dude wasn't even hitting on the same. Well, he wasn't hitting on the opposite squad. He was hitting on the same team.
Yeah.
It's okay for her to take this young ass boy back to America, marry him. Now, this is an acclaimed author.
Yeah.
Terry McMillan. And then you pointed out, oh, that's just a story. Stella got a group. No, that's a fucking reenactment, a romanticization of her own life story. But the point is, if a man did some shit like that, guess how? Oh man, it'd be a problem. You know what it'd be?
Yeah.
It'd be Mr. Man. It's just funny the double standards, though. That's all I want to do is just point out how fucking convoluted some of the things that some of these people say. It's not much thought given to it, I don't think.
Well, the thing is with this is it reminds me of GM versus Toyota in the 80s. Okay. In other
Right.
In other words, you have to buy American because Japanese engines are substandard. The cars are made by damn near slave labor and all kinds of stuff, right? You have to buy American, all the kind of stuff. It's the same things. It's sexual arbitrage. That's all that's happening.
That's crazy. I never thought of it in those specific terms, but goddamn.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing, right? Disparaging the women, and the product's inferior, and you guys are disloyal, and you're being abusive, and why are you going overseas to buy something you can buy here, even though it's a higher price and the quality is lesser? That doesn't matter, okay?
Yeah, men just don't want to marry a man, man. They don't want to marry a man with a vagina, man.
Are men entitled to engage or marry what they want, the women that they want? And if you don't supply the product that they want, are they allowed to go elsewhere and get it?
Yeah, I think I might do a show called Designated Desiderata. And in other words, man, they basically are trying to make men become accustomed to what women desire.
Yes.
So it's like a predetermined desiderata. And desiderata means like desires, okay? Ultimately, they're trying to terraform what you desire and what you will or will not accept out of a relationship, okay?
They're going to impose tariffs on you going overseas and engaging with other women in a minute. There's going to be a tax on it. No, you got to pay a tax if you're going to go do overseas and indulge with other women because you have to maintain the supply here. Okay, got to even out the arbitrage. Okay, you got to make the price of your women inside the United States more attractive.
And so what I need to do soon is to buy a video camera because I feel like it's time for me to start showing my face and to do more dynamic shit with YouTube.
I agree.
So that's a shout out there to all y'all, man. If you want to support Gigi, man, with a donation for a camera or some shit like that, because ultimately what I need to start doing is pre-recorded videos of the bread tube style. Because I think that's where I actually will be able to pick up steam and where I'll find a natural niche. Because I don't mind doing lives. In fact, it's easier for me to do lives. It probably would be the most easy thing for me to do is to just put up the pull up StreamYard and do that. But I think that if you want staying power, you got to run pre-rolled or recorded videos. I mean, if you want to gain a foothold in YouTube or any social media space, you got to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that I can do better than some of what I see from these individuals. I mean, just in terms of like my ability to reason and to, go through rigorous steps of argumentation. I don't think, Shepherd Tracy says no need to show your face, but like, if YouTube, any social media channel really is predicated upon, if it blows up, okay, I'm not saying I'm trying to blow up.
It's engagement with your audience and showing your face is part of that.
People need to see your emotions.
Yeah.
They need to see a side of you that they can't really actually get if they don't see your reactions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, look, he says don't mess up your W-2 job. And I won't, because the things that I'll do, it'll be tasteful. I mean, look, I've said this before, and I don't think the shit that I have to say is uncontroversial. I mean, it's controversial. Because what I say is that men and women both have the capacity or the ability to engage in virtue or vice. What the fuck is controversial about that?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't see what could potentially be problematic with me saying that. Okay? Or pointing out that there's an issue with, demanding that people have like a pre-commitment to what you want them to be pre-committed to. I find it.
I think what Bread Tube is time for the teachers to kind of take the podium from the students, because that's what you have on Bread Tube. Students trying to teach, and they're not doing a good job at it. So time for
and what they're doing is they're grandstanding and virtue signaling.
Yeah.
And they're demanding that people, quote unquote, do the work. Okay? And my issue with the whole concept of doing the work is there's no work associated with it. There's nothing tangible that's coming out of that shit. Like, do the work. All you have to do is be obsequious and toady and contrite in order to demonstrate that you've done the work. And I don't see how that's actually doing any work traditionally associated with leftism. But of course, you got new trends in philosophy, post-structuralism, postmodernism. I'm not going to get into all of this shit. It makes no sense for me to do so at this juncture, but it's the philosopher's job to point out the shortcomings in each one of those positions. I mean, there might be some virtues or some boons to draw out of a philosophical tradition that you disagree with, but you got to point out its shortcomings as well, and not just try to sell it as a shiny car with no flaws when like underneath the hood that this motherfucker's, it's got a bad transmission. It keeps getting recalled for a bad exhaust system. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Shout out to Dr. Tiasan out there, man. I see you out there, bro. But shout out to Kobe42. He says, the Rungynocracy's Iron Claw no longer works. Once black men knew that their words don't hold weight anymore. The game is over. Thank you, BGS and GG. Appreciate you, bro. But yeah, my goal is to, expand, man. I'm not really I've never been afraid to show my face. I was just on probation, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was on probation, bro.
Yeah, we know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and now I'm not anymore. So, like, I'm really not the type of individual to shy away from controversy or scrutiny. I'm not. But if I do it, I want to do it right. I don't want to, I don't have to start off with like a $1,500 camera, no shit like that. But it does have to be, of a quality where I can do videos, commensurate with what the people on YouTube are doing. I got to be able to edit the videos to a comparable quality.
Yeah,
and so,
you probably can do it on the iPhone. You just have to edit. That's all.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll end up doing. I'll do some, but you got to have lights and shit like that. I have all the audio equipment to do this.
The lights are fairly cheap. You go on eBay. Lights are cheap.
Yeah, so I've been researching it. So I just want to get it into effect within the next 4 to 5 months. Is what I want to do. Okay,
you're probably less than that, man. You just have to find time to do it. That's all. Well, the thing is, you know how to script things and stuff like that because you've done it before. Start scripting your stuff and then putting it together, and then by the time it goes into production, it shouldn't take that long.
Because you got to think, man. People like, I'll say the name, FB Signifier, man. Mm-hmm. That motherfucker's making about 20 G's a month, man. Yeah, no live streaming.
Yeah, at least.
So all of the people, talking about grifting and all of this shit, that man basically is not asking for people to give donations.
No, he's not.
He's not asking. I mean, he is selling memberships to various services he says he's offering. Yeah. Like lectures and things of this nature. But I mean, ultimately, this guy's making most of his money from ad revenue off of AdSense, Google's AdSense. That's how he's getting paid, man. Yeah. And his videos are in the number of millions. It's not like 10,000, 20,000. There are millions of people watching this guy's videos. Yeah. And the quality of it is relatively decent. I'm not saying I agree with his argumentation or anything, but I mean, the presentation is not half bad.
Yeah, and basically he doesn't have a fancy studio. He sits in front of a white wall and talks and he does B-roll. So it's not.
That's all I'm looking to do, man. I'm looking to say what I have to say. Yeah. To demonstrate, my intellect on a pre-recorded basis and to do videos that like are longer than 5-10 minutes. I want to go on a rant and the people see me ranting. And to make an intelligible, coherent argument about a whole bunch of different subject matter. But I want to expand beyond the subject matter that's, proffered in the manosphere. Not to say that I'm above it, but that's not the only thing I think about, man.
And the manosphere needs to expand because, even some of the stuff I do, especially with my dark news, has nothing to do with male-female relationships. It has to do with economics, has to do with geopolitics, all kinds of stuff. So it actually all relates. It all relates to the same thing. It's all connected.
Put it this way: if the thing that undergirds every principle that you operate by is fuck these hoes and fuck the niggas that's simping for them, then what's the content of your value system? That's not a very robust value system, man.
And as I've been trying to tell people, basically, the hoes, as we call them, are actually controlled by the cultural environment that they're in. And if something affects the cultural environment, it's going to affect the hoes. So you have to understand where the source, the cause, and not the effect.
I was having a conversation with Sandog about this issue, but it was a long time ago.
I remember, yeah.
And he was saying something to the effect of there are chakras to this, there are levels.
There's levels, yeah.
Of awareness and understanding and orientation to reality related to these issues that we're going through.
Yeah.
And most people are at the gonad level.
They are, yeah.
They're at the base level. Like, if I had to explain it in reference to like the Memphite theology, I would explain it in the following way. Like, Ron Effer, man, a great, author, he came up with the Tree of Life meditation system. He wrote a book called The Medu Netter. He basically says, look, and it's substantiated by contemporary psychology. Excuse me, psychology. He basically says most people, man, they operate under the reference or the framework of the reptilian brain. They just react and respond to various stimuli in the environment. The unthinking, reptilian, visceral part of your brain stem is what you operating under the most. And that's primarily where your anger and your frustrated is seated. That's no way to really actually carry on. Like, I mean, yeah, you can be pissed off. Fine. Okay. We get that you got these emotions and these feelings related to, and you have indignation related to it.
Yeah.
Okay. But what are the finer values and principles that you operate with on a day-to-day basis? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Freud would call it your edge, your instinctual drive.
Yeah. So, many people call it different things. But I mean, ultimately, come on, man. Like, it's time, like Rakim said, constant elevation calls expansion.
Yeah.
You gotta expand beyond just.
Yeah. Maslow's hierarchy said the same thing. You're operating at the base level, which is survival.
Yeah, I mean, like all you got to do is to be popular, is to just say, fuck these bitches, fuck this hoe, fuck these bitches, fuck this hoe, fuck these. Come on, man. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess it does sell. I mean, like, for example, the Priscilla woman, the so-called, the queen maker.
Yes.
That's just low-level conversation to me, man.
Yeah, she's, that's low-level pimping. That's what Priscilla's doing.
And she getting her money. She like, to me, I don't want to say this because, to me.
She said $350,000 last year.
Hey, man, shit, you can't hate on her hustle, but I mean, I disagree with the shit she's saying, but she found out how to pimp the algorithm. And she found a niche.
Yes.
And people who are willing to pay, because there's a lot of misandry out here.
Yes.
So she's peddling misandry. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, she found it, And women are willing to pay where they're feeling. They really are. Okay.
I just, it is what it is. But there is a tradition on YouTube in which people who are saying things that are more substantive than that are actually also able to make a good portion of change.
Yeah, like you said, Red Tube by itself, man, which is a niche. Like I said, $20,000 a month. That's not bad.
Then they got this chick, man, called Shoe On Head.
Yes.
I don't necessarily think she would be considered bread tube because she's not really like very intellectual. Although she's not,
Is you on here is considered bread tube. Yeah.
Okay, well, she not very sophisticated editing or anything like that. All you need is a streamer setup, like a gamer streaming setup to do videos, and then B-roll, which is going to become even more easier to do or more easy to do in the future. They just got new technology, man. There's a new AI engine called Sort, and it creates up to a minute of B-roll, but video footage B-roll in the same manner that like Dolly can create images.
Okay. So
this is going to change the game. All the stock footage video companies and shit like that, they're about to go out of business, man.
Okay.
I'm just being honest. They're not going to be able to charge you the same amount of money that they've been charging you because artificial intelligence engines are going to be able to create this shit out of nothing, just out of your prompts. So be on the lookout for that.
Games change. Okay.
And then at some point, artificial intelligence is going to be able to edit the videos that you do.
Yeah, it can, but the thing is, it's still, it's not quite there yet, but it can.
Let me show you this shit. Sort AI. You got to see this shit. Yeah, it's crazy. Sort, not sorted. Sort AI.
Somebody says SORA?
SORT.
Okay.
Video generator. Okay. Hold on. Sort video chat. It's made by the same people who do Chat GPT. I'm looking for it, but I'm having difficulty actually finding it right now.
I know. And the black in the day says it's SORA. It's SORA is what it's called.
Oh, SORA. 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 Yes, that's it. Okay, SORA. My bad. Sorry.
No, that's why we have his crowds. Crowdsourcing, right? People know.
Yeah, people are gonna be making porn with the shit. I'm not trying to.
They already are.
Shit.
They already are.
Yeah. So hold on. Sora. I'm trying to get to the actual Sora AI. Here it is right here. So I'm gonna show it to you. This is interesting. Present. I'm so very sorry for screwing that up and saying it's something that it is not.
That's why you have.
Can you see this?
Yep.
So that was created by video from text, like show leaves, I guess, like moving like paper airplanes, something like that.
Okay.
This is also artificial intelligence. Typical Asian contemporary woman walking through the streets of Tokyo or something like that.
Okay.
All AI. Some more AI. I guess like
the drone footage of a
Gold Rush in California.
Okay.
All created and generated through text. You know what I'm saying? Camera follows white SUV. All done through,
and the better your video engines for your games get, the better this stuff will look.
Of course, because they're automating it now. I mean, you're right. You're correct. So, I mean, all of this to say, this is where the game is going in terms of video, video shit. You know what I'm saying? All free, unless you have to pay a service for it. Like right now, I pay for Chat GPT because I don't want to wait, and I want to use 4.0 when I want to use it, and Dolly and all that shit the way I want to use it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to wait, and you're on reserve now because the volume of the traffic is high. If I want to use it, I want it. I want it when I want it. So, and it's a nominal fee. It's like $20 a month, but
I would say, man, as far as your setup, get yourself some. Get yourself some lights from eBay. It shouldn't cost more than $100. Get a nice little thing for you. Put your iPhone on the tripod, and because people have made films from with an iPhone.
iPhone, for sure. Turn it off.
Yeah, and then yeah, get yourself a good editing program and use your filters and your B-roll, and that's all you need. You know.
Yeah, I'm looking to get into. I'm looking to go. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm committed. Like if I started the same way, I know I kind of dropped off from doing videos for quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
And new life circumstances, I got a lot of shit I'm contending with at one point. You know, so I have to contend with it. But you know, I'm committed over the long haul to doing something artistic. You know, with content creation. I just think that content creation is the future. It just is. Okay, there's no doubt.
And this, they said this. That's why there's a book. You know, you probably should read. If I find it, I'll send it to you. It's called written back in 2003, called The Long Tail. Right, about how boutique knowledge and can actually you know, make you money. Amazon's built on that principle. Okay.
But the goal is going to have to be to create the kind of content that you could actually monetize.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get away with cursing and things of this nature on YouTube. You can, but it can't be so prevalent in your presentation that it triggers some sort of you know, strike or something like that. It's a community guideline
it's
restriction or something like that.
It's using you know, because YouTube has like 2.5 billion followers, right? So it's finding your niche within that 2 billion. Okay, that's the prize, is finding them, you know, in them, you know, actually engaging with your content or your product. Unscripted, appreciate you for the $20.
For sure, appreciate that, bro.
And Florida, Brooklyn, it was the BK for life. When are you going to do an in-depth examination of reckless eyeballing?
That's a good topic, man. Because I think what white women have done is they've turned, you know, like this into the male gaze.
Yeah.
But that's always been a part. Like black men know full well what the male gaze means to white women. It means reckless eyeballing, and it means that you are basically opening yourself up to the possibility that you might get lynched.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
The Me Too and SA and stuff like that. We basically saw Jonathan Majors almost publicly get lynched, you know, professionally, right? With that thing in Manhattan, right? Even though she chased him for 6 blocks. Matter.
That, you know, at some point men are going to have to push back. And I'm not saying that women don't undergo horrible experiences. I think that they do. But to act as if they're the only ones that undergo horrible experiences is ridiculous. And like one of the things, you know, people need to understand, like full well, is that like the gynocracy is not a peaceful place, man, even for women. Like there's competition within it. And there's a pecking order within it. And yes, they will henpeck each other. Yes, they will.
And that's where it comes from. Yeah, hen pecking each other. That's a female thing.
They will fuck each other up. They will ruin each other's reputations. They will engage in slander and all kind of subterfuge. They will do that with each other. It ain't just all hunky dory and all fun and games within the context of the so-called quote unquote matriarchy. It ain't.
You got to write some of this stuff down for future, you know, videos like henpecking. Where does it come from, and how is it established, and how do women, you know, practice it? Because I think it was the Lucifer principle actually talked about henpecking, how women keep each other in order by shame and ruining reputation. So, in fact, I heard one woman actually on Chris Williamson actually wrote a book on that.
Yeah, I gotta check. Yeah, send that my way if you can see something on that.
Okay.
You know, yeah, send something, throw something my way. Shout out to all y'all out there. Eon, I see you out there, my boy. That's the mad light skinned cat, man. Very rare phenomenon, man. Very rare phenomenon, man. The angry light skinned man.
Angry light skinned guy, huh?
Man, very, very rare, man. You know what I'm saying? Occasion to see. That's no my chill, boy there. Chill, huh? Yeah, man. No chill, man. But yeah, let's push forward with this, man. I got some more to show.
Okay.
So you don't want to hear the Black National Anthem?
Because I mean,
It's
Do you know it?
triggering.
Do you know
Is it
Can-
triggering?
I never heard it, but just lift every voice. Like, I don't know.
I'm being real here. Why is it it's triggering to you, or who is it triggering to?
It's triggering to the people before me, and like knowing what they went through, and like, so like this is like making people remember that whole era. Like, let's not,
You're saying that it's actually doing more harm than
I
good.
think so. In my
Interesting.
opinion, I think.
Dina, do you want to
This
hear
is-
the Black National Anthem?
I don't really have a preference. I just want to watch the game.
Adam, this is
you know
your
what I'm
hot
saying?
take right
Like, I
here.
just
What's
wanna-
she saying?
Wow. That's the way they're taught, though.
Yeah, like really for real, like the Black National Anthem. Like first and foremost, man, people have to understand where this shit came from. So the name of the song is called "Lift Every Voice and Sing."
Right.
It was written by a man by the name of James Weldon Johnson. At the turn of the 20th century. I think he actually wrote the shit 114 years ago, man. Okay? And eventually it was a poem, okay, to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's birthday.
Okay.
Okay, and it gained popularity in the African-American community or the black community or the Negro or the colored community, however you want to.
During the 60s, yeah.
Okay, so it was a way for blacks to express their struggles, their hopes, their dreams in the face of systemic racism and segregation.
Right.
So, like, do we need two national anthems? Well, I mean, come on, man. During the time that the song was written, there was hope that, like, especially, during that time that maybe perhaps, like white folks would do right and open up civil society to black people. But they really didn't, because we already know what Reconstruction was, and then what the I guess you could call it like the great what resolution to like get back like I forget what it's actually called. I can't, it eludes me for some reason, but it's like the North settling its grievances with the South. Okay. The Great Reconciliation, I think is what it's called.
Yeah. I think.
And so, the Great Reconciliation basically is something that eventually culminates in Jim Crow laws and the black codes and all of this shit. A segregated society.
Okay.
So if the society is essentially segregated along civil lines, like, I mean, you literally had like different geographical spaces that could be occupied by blacks and whites at any given time. Like, you can't use this water fountain.
Yeah.
You can't go in this part of this train. You can't go in this part of this bus. You got to go to the back of the building in order to enter into the hotel. Okay? You have to eat in the kitchen. You can't eat, where the good white people are. So that you actually do have a dual society, a dual economy. Okay, dual institutions that existed within the context of the black community.
Yeah.
And then now, like, you got black kids who don't even want to know their own history related to that. Like, I want to forget it all. It's, it's triggering to me, and
it's too painful to remember what your people have gone through. But it's right. The thing is, what do the chosen people say? Never forget, right?
Yeah, like, when have Jewish people ever denied the Holocaust? Or said, like, I don't want to hear anything about anything related to the Holocaust?
Yeah, they embrace it.
When have you ever heard any Jewish person say that?
No. Think about your national anthem about the Revolutionary War, right?
Or
War of 1812.
Of course.
Yeah.
They never forget their historical moments. But black people willingly, this is what you call the miseducation of the Negro, man. That's the miseducation of the Negro.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
You just want to forget about it. I mean, not to say that you have to like embrace all of it to the point where you consider yourself to be like defeated ultimately, but to say that I don't want to even know it.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to countenance it. I don't even want to reflect on it.
I want to forget that I'm black.
You can't overcome your blackness, man, by denying that the thing ever happened. Now, I get you don't have to wallow in it.
You can become whatever you declare yourself to be. You can identify as white, right?
You can, well, you can identify as white all you want. No, I'm an individual. I'm a person.
Somebody told me that you just identify as white. If you deny racism, it won't affect you.
It's a difference between becoming bonded to dysfunction as opposed to knowing your history.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a difference in that. Okay, now it's one thing to identify only with struggle, only with pain, only with, to be, I guess, in a word, a masochist.
Yeah.
Okay, like somebody who loves pain, who wants to be seated in pain. And it's another thing to know about what has occurred before. Okay, and I just think that, black folks aren't. It's like the famous phrase in the miseducation of the Negro is black people will create the door that they were forced to go into before.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not the exact terminology utilized, but I mean, that's the idea, right?
Yeah. The erasure of history goes all the way back to the Egyptians and the hieroglyphs. That's what people do.
But now, instead of them erasing the history, you erase it from yourself because you don't want to look at it.
Yeah. Basically you've been socialized to actually rewrite history. That's why they call it Kafka or even 1984, right? The ministry.
Yeah, just burn the books.
Burn the books, yeah.
Forget the evidence. But I mean, that's been done already. So, but we want to do it to ourselves at this point. So, or in the next clip, you'll see some people want to put us back on the plantation. May as well take a gander at it.
Why not?
When you saw 12 Years a Slave, did you think there should have been more years? Was that one of your thoughts?
I even went further than that.
Yeah?
I'm like, I'm going to buy me a plantation down in Alabama.
Yes.
And I'm going to put all the blacks back on the plantation.
This is wild, dude. This is crazy.
So that I could teach them about family.
Yep.
And about how to work hard and be individual.
Something tells me
take care of themselves.
This will not be very well received as an idea.
only for the lazy blacks.
Okay.
They would not accept it.
Yeah, that's a Southern thing. I've had a lot of older Southern people say, I'm so glad that they took us from Africa.
And this is the thing that's why I say, like, there are a lot of people who don't like pro-black shit in the black manosphere.
Right.
Which I don't understand, because if they hear somebody saying something that's like anti-black, they'll be the first people to say, that's wrong. We should condemn it and all of this. But it's like, hold on, wait a minute. Why do you even give a fuck? I thought you were only looking out for yourself and that, like, the community was destroyed. It was dead. And that there's no real need to really actually have any empathy or any concern for anything beyond yourself. I just don't understand how it's coherent for you to be so upset about somebody saying something about a community of persons, or even you, but you stand outside of the context of that community. So how does it even apply to you? Oh, well, it's guilty through ascription, I guess, because they identify me with that, and I'm not that. I'm like a better, more improved nigga.
Yeah. And there's a lot of black people, especially him, man, that believe that black people can only learn through suffering.
Look, I'm with Joe's here. It's like, how you gonna say buy a plantation and teach individualism in this?
Yeah.
He gonna put people back into slavery and teach them how to work hard.
Yeah.
And look, all I can say is this. If you're not pro-black, why would you even be upset at somebody calling you a nigga? Or be upset at Jesse Lee Peterson saying, I'm going to put Negroes back on the plantation. I think more than anything else, what black men are upset about is the fact that they don't feel like they have any power within the context of the community.
Yeah.
That's the problem. But let's face the issue let's see what the issue actually is. Let's tease it out specifically, and let's not talk in generalities. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, ultimately, my foray, like a lot of people don't understand, I didn't just start studying European and Greek philosophy. That's not where I started with my understanding of philosophical concepts. It's not where I began. I began with Chancellor Williams. I began with, Chick Anta Diop, Jacob Carruthers. Like, that's where I started reading initially. I didn't start reading Plato and Aristotle and Aquinas and Descartes and shit. I started reading, Anthony Browder.
Yeah.
I started reading J.A. Rogers.
Yeah.
I was at the black bookstore. I'm just saying that's where I was. Because that's where like all of the, the radicals from the 50s and 60s, that's where they were.
Yeah. And the book clubs and yeah.
And so I was like consuming all of this, like, okay. And like the spook who sat by the door, I was like, okay, you know what? I want to know what they know. I want to start studying their tradition. Like,
yeah.
So I was on the Francis Cress Welsing shit a long time ago, the ISIS Papers, man. My father had that book, man. I've been reading all the Illuminati shit, which I think is kind of like a lot of speculation and conjecture. I've read Behold a Pale Horse when I was in fucking high school. I mean, like, I'm not saying it like, I guess I was a weird kid. I like to read. Because most black men don't even know how to fucking read. And if you, you know that one boy who said, like, to a group of women, I forget what show he was on. It might have been Fresh and Fit or some show like that, something similar to it. And the little boy was like, name 10 books. you remember that clip? Name 10 books.
Yeah, 19 books. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Name 10 books.
Name 10 books. Yeah.
Most Negroes can't name the last 10 books that they read, man. Or because they haven't read 10 books in years. Or the space in which they read those books has been like a chasm.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, man.
Yeah,
so,
and my backlog of reading, my backlog reading list is longer than that. It's like 20 books. There's a backlog.
Yeah, man. So anyway, man, shout out to the Pivot. What did he say? Hold on, the Supreme Pivot. He said payment from the Supreme Pivot, man, sent me $1, man, on cash.
All right, hey, $1.
Every dollar holler, man. $1 holler's worth. Hey, man.
Yeah.
But shout out to him, man. Appreciate the donation, man. So look, I'm gonna let some people come up if you want to, man. Short period of time if you want. If you got something you want to say it now. Speak or forever hold your peace. And then we'll, because I don't want to keep him for longer than necessary. BGS, because I know you got other shit to do. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I know you got other shit to do. So 10, 15 minutes at the most. What's up with y'all? You see the StreamYard link. What's cracking? I still can hold 10 people at a time. Chaos Reign. What's happening?
What's good, Green Grill? What's good? Good show. I missed the short bus. Usually it's always on a Saturday, but today's Sunday special. Yeah, GG. Besides the subject matter, I agree with you. I think it's that time, man, because you have put in enough work to get to the point now when people actually see you and actually see the actual short videos. It's going to really set precedent where you are now. It's going to probably amplify more. You get me? Because you're a unique brother. You get me? Not because of the content, not for the content, but just how you put out the content and express that people can relate to you. And that's one thing that is missing throughout, social media and let's say YouTube. Can people relate to you? You've gone through experience, you don't hold no tongue, you're as real as to get. And the crowd reciprocates that. That's one thing I like about you, That's why I always tune in as any chance I get, watch most every videos, because I can learn something for the last 2 years. Roughly.
For sure. Supreme Pivot, man. Don't be ashamed of that, man. I appreciate that, my brother, man. You feel me? Appreciate that.
Every dollar counts, man. Don't
discount that, man.
Every dollar is a blessing, man. I always say that.
So, I don't know. We covered a gamut of things today, man. I mean, but ultimately, this black thing, it confuses me because, look, I've already said that blackness in and of itself is not enough to connect people together. Okay, there's no I spoke about that, and not that I have like a negative attitude towards black folks. It's just that the content. So I get kind of like what the woman is saying about pain and suffering and struggling and all of this, but you can't disconnect yourself from it altogether because it's there. But then you have to add some kind of positive content to it, and I think that there are traces of us doing that. But I think that overall we fail miserably at being able to do that in a sustained way. Okay, it's like, man, people have tried it, but black folks have rejected it. Like I was talking about, like the holiday Kwanzaa, black people rejected it.
Yeah,
and they said, "Fuck, I want to watch Kris Kringle." I want to fucking, I want to fucking, deal with Tiny Tim on fucking Christmas Day.
Yeah.
But Greek Red, one question: you think it's really black people's fault why they don't want to accept Asian as alternate than was Eurocentricism?
It's not their fault. The thing is that we used to go back and forth with this when I was actually really deeply in the pro-black sector, right? This question about how do you actually get people to actually do things. It said, where do you actually send your kids to school? You can't send your kids to school for 40 hours a week of indoctrination and expect them to come out pro-black. It doesn't work that way.
But funny thing, BJS, if we look at it before schools were integrated, was black people really teaching their own history? If there's some controls, if they have some schools that they ran back up to around the 40s,
they had more autonomy. They have the money to actually do it well, but they had more autonomy. So yeah, you had to teach their experience because that's all you had. So it was a little bit more. But the thing is that but they're still teaching the same courses that they would teach in the white schools.
Okay.
But at least you had more autonomy when the schools are actually separated. But the thing is, so I asked, I said, if you don't want the kids to actually come out with that ideology, where do you send them to school?
Okay.
I mean, that's how you think white people became white. Okay, they didn't come out white. When the school system actually was actually adopted, they were socialized into having a white identity because they were Germans and Italians and Spanish and northern
Irish.
They're all different groups of people, right?
All tribes, different tribes.
White is an identity, okay, just like black is an identity. So when I hear little girls say that, that's how come those two videos actually went together, right? Those are ideologies, right? And they don't come out of nowhere. So, and as you've integrated the school system, so the white folks that come from one side, black folks come from the other side into the middle. They can actually form people of color. That's why when you hear pearly things say some stuff, and you hear a black woman almost say the exact same thing. A black girl almost say the exact same thing, right?
But
come out of the same school of thought. Go ahead.
There's a guy who wrote a book, man, called The Invention of White People. I forget what his name is. Let me look it up.
I remember the book, yeah.
The Invention, I'm going to put it up there.
Invention of the White
Race. Is it a big book? It's a big book?
Yeah, Theodore Allen is the name of the person who wrote the book. The Invention of the White Race.
Yeah.
Theodore Allen. And I mean, ultimately, what he says is that like white people weren't actually referred to as white folks. No. Initially, I mean, they were like designated according to their ethnicity.
Yeah.
So if they were from Ireland, they were Irish. If they were from, England, they were Anglos. If they were from, Saxony, they're Saxons. If they're from France, they're Gallic or something like that,
Mormons, yeah.
But now everything gets collapsed into whiteness, and I think that that's a product of slavery. It's a product.
It's a product of the German Prussian school system.
But I'm saying, the German Prussian school system doesn't predate slavery. Okay, so what I'm saying is, so you start to see recordings and the way that like race is perceived in the United States around the time of Bacon's Rebellion. And, you know, like, so at time T1, people were pretty much identified, predicated upon their ethnicities. But after Bacon's Rebellion and the alliance was formed between white, indentured servants and blacks, the planter class is like, we have to create a new kind of designation to split up this alliance. This is some shit we don't want. Okay? We don't want a coalition amongst working class people who are both, European and African, or, descendants of Europeans in Africa. We're going to cut that shit short. So then increasingly you began to see classifications of white versus black or Negro, because black people weren't called black back then. They were colored. And they were quadroons, octoroons, who knows what other crazy classifications that they had, mulattoes and shit like this. So
Las Castas, the caste system.
So what I'm saying is that whiteness was an invention by Europeans. Specifically, though, I think America is the repository of white supremacy. I think that like they have a hang up on race more so than any other group of people. Just specifically because one drop of black blood triggers you to be a member of the blacks or the coloreds or the Negroes. Whereas in other places, you didn't even see this kind of staunch or this kind of hard line demarcation between white and black. You had at least various gradations of classes of persons who could be accepted as above and beyond the other. You didn't see that shit in America, okay? Even though in symbol you might have seen it, but definitely not in law, okay? Because one could argue that light-skinned people might have been treated better, or might even have more relationships with white men, black women if they're lighter skinned, but ultimately there weren't any protected class of mulattoes in American culture. Maybe in New Orleans you might have seen some shit like that. Definitely not in French. Definitely not in the Anglican South. You know what I'm saying? So or the Anglican portions of the country, or the Dutch or some shit like that. You just didn't see it. So, but like all of these people collapse into whiteness now, and they like the average white person doesn't have any regard like in American culture. I'm not saying elsewhere, but in American culture, they have no understanding of their own fucking cultural heritage. White folks now, now what they do identify with is something artificial. I know because I taught it. Okay. Let me tell you what white folks learn when they go to college. They learn that white people created philosophy and are at the center of everything historical. And that everything else lies on the periphery of the European. Because, they start with fucking Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and then they move from there. Or they might go into the pre-Socratics. Okay? But that's where they start. That's their fucking cultural, girder. That's their cornerstone. Okay? And they don't give a fuck about it. Most of them have no regard. They don't care. Just like black people don't have a care for black history or the African roots. These people don't really give a fuck. They'll do what they have to do in order to get a grade if they're so inclined. But they don't have an affinity for what is postulated as their own culture. And I think part of the reason behind this, like a whole canon is basically been presented to them. And so any white kid going to school, they're going to automatically think that everything that is important and that is progressive and that is civilized is something that they had their hand in creating. But you, on the other hand, what do you have? Because when you go to a university, what the fuck are you learning? You're not learning about the Asian contribution to civilization. You're not learning about the Saracen or the Arab contribution or the Muslim contribution towards maintaining the Greek tradition, which would have been lost because the Romans tried to destroy it. It's so much shit going on that motherfuckers don't know about that I know about just because I read. I'm not saying I'm the smartest motherfucker out here. I'm probably not. But damn, people don't read. But then they present themselves to be experts on a whole variety of issues, and it just fucking confuses me. But you know, go ahead, my boy.
I'm reading on African, history of how families were structured, and BGS got me into that. And then that's why I said the Victorian woman era and how they changed the relationship to the women in the workplace and all that type of stuff, and how it connects to like Africa too, and how they push Christianity or whatever. And my thing is, well, I feel like Black people chase the European standard instead of just attempting to come up with their own. That's it reciprocates for both genders.
How do you
get what I'm saying?
How do you create your own?
You would have to have your own environment, economy, and everything. Yeah.
Oh, so how do you do that?
Yeah. You got to pick up some arms or agree to something.
Pick up some arms. And how you gonna pick up arms against who?
No, I'm just saying in general. Just to have yours, you would have to actually fight for it.
Okay, the thing is, people think just picking up arms is actually going to build a society. That's not the way it works. Okay, what you gonna eat?
Yeah.
Who you gonna trade with? What kind of money you gonna have? How you gonna? What kind of laws
you distribute?
And how long?
Import and export.
How are you gonna do that in a short amount of time? Right? It takes decades to actually do that. Okay. It doesn't happen. Even if you separate. Okay. Why you think most of them succeed, even though they already have an economy.
Yeah.
But there have been many people who tried to figure out how to get the herded cats of Negroes together, man. The grazing individual cats suffering from I'm the head nigga in charge syndrome. To actually say, okay, let's coalesce into a community and develop an ethos or at least a political set of institutions where we can make decisions collectively.
You have to take the children. You have to take the children out of the schools first. If you can't do that, none of the other stuff matters. Okay.
I think brothers trust each other just about as much as women trust us. You know what I'm saying?
If you don't take your children out of the schools that socialize you into a society, it's not going to work.
Yep.
Yeah, Brenda. You remember that video I put out about Brenda Verner a long time ago?
Yeah.
She said the same shit. Ultimately, what she said is the mentality of a person who came up in the school system prior to segregation, desegregation, is totally and radically different from these kids now.
Yes.
Their commitment to excellence and their connection to a community is entirely different. And you can see it because those people believed in collective action and they were tethered to a community. The average Black person today, man, they don't have any regard for community at all. But then they demand, the strangest shit in the world to me is for a motherfucker in this space or elsewhere to demand that I demonstrate that I've done something for a community that they've themselves said fuck. I don't get that shit, man. I need somebody to explain to me how you're going to require me to demonstrate that I've done something for the community after you said fuck the community. I want somebody to please help me understand that shit. You say fuck the community, but you demanding that I demonstrate a personal contribution towards the elevation of it.
Yeah, knowing that you can't because they're trying to dismiss the whole argument, and they know it.
It doesn't, to me, this shit is vacuous. It doesn't even fucking make any sense. But shout out to the Black toxic masculine, as he says, put 4 5s on the camera. Black men are helping us to better understand themselves, the real world and our place in it. I've read some of your books you've listed. The other books fill many of the other gaps. Salute. Shout out to that brother, man, the Black masculinist. He used to be the toxic Black masculinist. Now he's the Black toxic masculinist. It's kind of confusing, but shout out to that brother, man. And also shout out to the brother Yokohama. 1949, he says we always complain about what they don't teach our kids, but isn't it our responsibility to rear our kids with both knowledge?
Yes.
You know, both. Now, see, this is the funny thing about like how the schools, especially the academy, because the black radical kids in the academy in the 60s demanded African American studies so that they can learn, you know, like their history. But now, like these programs, you have to understand that the administrations or the administrators in these institutions, they're going to put people in place that make them comfortable. They're not going to. So it started off radical, and now it's like, you know, you got a bunch of motherfucking woke, you know, like milquetoast motherfuckers in there, man. It's just it's a fact, man. You can look at the trajectory of the radicality of these systems and these programs and like what they've morphed into. And like the old schoolers would be like rolling over in their graves right now, looking at this shit, seeing how weak it's become and how attenuated and how, you know, assimilationist the shit has become. And I blame the Ivy League institutions for this shit. And I'm not going to say any names, but like if I start doing recorded videos, I would love to do a video on how the black, you know, the African American Studies program became progressively and more assimilationist than white and accommodationist. That would be a dope ass pre-recorded video to do.
I think so. Write it down, sir.
Yeah, shit. Well, you know, I ain't got to, you know, I'm like Jay-Z, man. I got so many ideas in my head. Like, I'm thinking about a whole bunch of shit. And it's time for me to take that step and to start doing these pre-recordeds, because that's where the real work is. Like, statements that are definitive, that don't have to do with back and forth with ragtag motherfuckers, you know, just, you know, hating and shit. You know what I'm saying? Which, not everybody does that in these spaces, but, man, it's just a lot of fucking...
It's a competition. You know, when they put money into this space, that's into YouTube, that's when the competition started.
Yeah, I get competition, but goddamn, can you just play the game without like?
Ain't no such thing.
No, you can't play the game without cheating, man.
You've been out there, man. You know how it is out there on
yeah,
the
motherfuckers can't get their own blow. They gotta take yours and shit. You know what I'm saying? But you come to me trying to take mine, like look, it is what it is, man. Like YouTube is great. But all I can say is, man, like, I'm gonna tell you why a lot of Negroes in the manosphere aren't seeing their profiles enhanced. It's because one, a lot of us aren't showing our faces, and two, a lot of motherfuckers are boring. I hate to say that shit, or not really very informative, or is that, you know, like, dudes, just using StreamYard, man, like. I mean, ain't shit wrong with it, but I mean, it's like Clubhouse. It's a Clubhouse type of medium, and I'm not saying it's bad, but it ain't gonna get you to 1 million fucking followers and subscribers. That's not the. They got seminars and shit where motherfuckers got like South by Southwest and shit for content creators. They got it. It's called VideoCon and shit like that, man. There's a science to this shit. Okay. And if you don't follow the formula, you ain't gonna get no bread out of it. And if bread is your goal, compete with the real competitors, man. Stop looking motherfuckers rather be a big fish in a small pond, though, in order to venture out. They don't want to fucking compete with them big boys.
Yeah, but you know, you're not lying. You're actually on point on that. You get me? Especially if you're doing it for more than 5 more years. Yeah, and if you're getting like a good following, it would make more sense to move forward. It has to come to that. But a lot of people, I don't know what they do for a living. I get it, but if you're trying to make money on here, you're going to have to create that great sacrifice and go all broke. Either that,
you really don't have to, dude. The form of content of YouTube content creators is an offshoot of Twitch. I hate to say that shit, but it's a fact, man. The motherfuckers sitting in these gaming chairs in a room where there's a webcam on them, and they're reacting to shit that they're doing on a video game is the prototype for all of the shit that you see the content creators doing on YouTube. That's just a fact, bro. And we talking about 15 to 16-year-old white boys doing it. And niggas can't seem to wrap their head around the technology. I hate to say it, but come on, man. The gaming chair costs about $100. A webcam comes on your computer. Now, what they do is they get a video card from Elgato or some shit like that. They get a Stream Deck, and they do all this shit. And they got some headphones, and they got like little scenes set up from Stream Elements or some shit like that, and they're ready to go, man.
Yeah.
And they've been doing this shit for the past 10 years. And we looking at it like, well, it's so complicated. Man, this shit ain't complicated. I got partners that claim to do video. And they're puzzled by like what the fuck's going on YouTube. I'm like, dude, how the fuck can you proclaim to do video?
It's a different video. Physically is different. It's different medium than what goes on YouTube.
I understand that.
Yeah.
BGS, I get it. But if this is your niche, this is what the fuck you do. You deal with media of a visual and an audio kind connected together. Okay? That's like saying like you don't understand the new programs, to utilize, like you don't know Final Cut Pro because you still working with Adobe, but you have no ability to move from one format to the other.
Yeah, some people have a whole lot of problems with it, man. It's many. You'd be surprised.
I'm plastic, man. I got plasticity. I have brain plasticity. Okay.
Some people get it into a workflow and they can't change, and that I see that all the time.
Yeah. Well, my thing is this, man. If a fucking 15 to 16-year-old white boy can do it, I'd be goddamn if I can't do it. Especially if they putting the game out there on how to do it.
Like we used to use Google Hangouts, right, for years, right, to do live streams. And then when Google Hangouts went away, all these Negroes said, "Oh my God, what we gonna do? What we gonna do?" So I went out and found StreamYards.
And StreamYard is great. I would never do away with it. But the problem is, motherfuckers aren't using OBS. That is the cornerstone of this shit.
What the thing is that there's even people don't even use StreamYards till it's full of capacity. They don't.
No, they don't. They don't. But I'm just saying there's a difference between us having conversations with each other, which is valuable. I think, and that's fine if all you want to do is have conversations in this niche. Beautiful. If that's all you want to do. But if you really actually have your eyes on getting a shit ton of money off of YouTube, stop attacking one another and jockeying over, like, I'm not saying that there's crumbs here, but I mean, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There ain't a $20,000, $25,000 pool of resources to go around to various content creators every month here.
No.
But in the larger YouTube land, it is. And it ain't got nothing to do with somebody donating anything. It's coming from Google itself and how many eyeballs are hitting your fucking shit.
Yeah, that means you have to expand yourself past your boundary.
Now the question is, do you really want to do that? And even if you did do it, would you be able to generate eyeballs to your content? Now we already know it's hard as a motherfucker to gain a foothold in YouTube. It is, bro. It ain't impossible though. All you need is one or two dope ass videos that motherfuckers like, and then you on your way.
Yeah.
But you can't win the game if you ain't even playing the game. And my goal is to now, like I done so many lives, I have become comfortable with lives.
Yeah.
It's time for me to move into a whole different part of the game. But it's going to take me I have to get acclimated to it myself. And the most difficult part of doing pre-recorded videos is editing. So, like the question is, do I want to,
I get, like somebody asked me about that and I gave them an assignment, right? I just told them, every morning when you get up, just turn on your phone and do a ramble for 20 minutes and then listen back. every morning. Just get up and listen to yourself. Do a ramble, make a presentation, and listen back. Okay, and that will actually hone you into actually being able to talk and communicate, especially when you get on camera. It'd be
But you're
natural.
unique, man. I can do this live.
Hmm.
I have years of teaching experience, so it's not difficult for me to be in front of a crowd of persons, either physically or virtually.
Hmm.
Because I mean, I've done it for so long. Like, I mean, like, it ain't shit for me to walk into a classroom full of 40 to 50 people and be like, okay, here I am. This is my name, Dr. Basil. Let's get started. Here's the syllabus. Let's go through it.
Hmm.
And to break the ice, get them to say things, like, it ain't shit for me to do. Okay.
Right.
But I do have taste. And so, I could slap some shit together.
Hmm.
I want to find a formula that's going to work to where I can actually compete with these motherfuckers making this big bread out here. I ain't saying that I will. I might not ever actually ever get there.
You already have the accumulated knowledge that you do so. You just have to go ahead and do the grunt work now.
It's time to do the grunt work, man. So help your boy do the grunt work.
Yeah.
Holler at your boy. I just want to get there because I want to respond to some of the shit that these people are saying on the left and the right, but I want to do so in a tasteful, respectful, and like a logically consistent, argumentative way. Not like, like I'm cursing motherfuckers out and calling them all kind of bitches and lames and all of this. That's not productive, man.
Well, the biggest thing in bread too is speaking the lingo and speaking the language, which you already do. Okay. And
Yeah,
so you can speak to those people because you speak their language already.
Yeah, for sure. But they need to be debated.
Yeah.
But everybody needs to be debated. The black manosphere should be debated.
Mm-hmm.
The blue pill sphere should be debated. Feminists should be debated. But everybody's running away from the debate.
Yeah. Well,
I think somebody in the chat said it perfectly. He put it succinctly and perfectly, where he said, like, it's a lot of people with echo chambers.
Yes.
A lot of people are retreating to their enclaves and just hearing what they want to hear without actually interpolating viewpoints from outside of themselves. So
we call those silos. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot of silo clinging knee huggers here and elsewhere. It's a prevalent phenomenon.
Yeah. How do you go from one silo to the next? It's always difficult.
So, but it's, you're a unique individual, man. You're extemporaneous and impromptu speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you wax poetic with it. Like, I'm like, damn, I know he ain't read that shit. He's just talking. You know what I'm saying? But everybody can't do that, though. Like, not everyone has that skill.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, not everyone has the same kind of voice texture either. Some people's voices are more irritating.
That is true.
You sound like like an old radio host. That's what you sound like to me. Like coming on with the Quiet Storm or some shit like that.
Yeah.
That's the kind of voice you got. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can have that, that kind of, that's a gift that you didn't even ask for. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. I woke up at 13 one morning and that's what I had.
Yeah, that's just, not everybody has that. So, I just know, the game has to be elevated, and it's a lot of people here who have the capacity to elevate it. We've already seen like O'Shea Duke Jackson do it.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen Angry Man do it. We've seen like
Kevin do it. Yeah.
Kevin do it. We've seen they got on it immediately when they saw it. We saw what's the sister name, man? I can't even. Wow, I can't. Kendra did it.
Mm-hmm.
So many people have done it. It's like that's the model. That's the content creator model to move ahead in this game.
Mm-hmm.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's pre-recorded shit. Now, some of them do lives and they kind of rely on that. But like really, the shit really, that live shit ain't gonna get you that long guap, man. It's that Kevin got the long guap from the live.
And basically the same format that the lead attorney actually teaches.
The clip mode.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the game, the clip mode game.
So basically what RedTube is basically like simple documentaries style things where they actually have an announcer sitting in the chair and run B-roll that's telling a story just like you're doing in a documentary for, say, like for Saturday school or something like that. That's what
And that's what I've been wanting to do for a minute. That's where I want to.
And yeah, well, you finally made up your mind that you guys are going to go for it with, because we're actually kind of ambivalent about it.
Yeah, I was on probation, so I didn't want to show my face.
Even after that, I asked you.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
But this is the real bread is in pre-recorded videos. All this, I'm just saying, like, if you're a content creator in the Black manosphere and you're mad and seeing people get money in the manosphere, I tell you what. Fuck what the donations in the manosphere and go start doing pre-recorded videos and compete with the big boys, man, and get on the $10,000 to $20,000, $30,000 a month track.
That's what YouTube respects, is pre-recorded. That's right, your base.
Get on that track. Now, you start doing that, then I'll give you some respect. But just motherfuckers thumping their chests at each other, getting mad and talking about the purity of the viewpoints of the men here and all that, man. Fuck all that. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and jump on off the cliff, man. Compete with the big boys. Get on the Cosmonaut level. You scared of that though, huh?
And you got to get off the court sooner or later and get on the court.
Yeah, man. Stop playing in the motherfucking practice gym with the practice scrims. Mm-hmm. Get out on the floor. Mm-hmm. So anyway, man, having said all that shit, man. Subscribe to the channel, man, if you haven't done so already, man. Like the video. We ain't heard nothing from the angry light-skinned dude, man. What's up, man?
Yeah, man. I all of what you're saying is some stuff that I just agree with. So, I was even saying some of this last night when I was on Brutally Honest show, because I'm telling the guys, y'all niggas been coddled because all y'all do is get on panels talking to each other and shit, and you don't have the fucking intellectual bandwidth to really engage other people. And because the show was about Mumia, and I said he's a trailblazer, and they're trying to argue back and forth, but the fact is, you can barely even argue with one another. So you can't say that Mumia is not doing something that you can't do. Because you can't. Yeah. You can't do what the fuck this guy do. You can't go. Mumia can go anywhere on any fucking platform and hold his own. Yeah. That's something that you niggas will never be able to do. Okay?
Yeah, because
I miss you saying who was he can go anywhere?
Obsidian.
Yeah. I do believe that. I believe that. I believe that.
He's honed that skill over many years. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then he's a good writer as well. So I mean, he's a good writer. Yeah. He's a thinker, actually. I mean, some of the shit that he says you might disagree with, but I think some of the shit he says is spot on. But I don't agree with myself over time, so I don't agree with everything everyone says. No one should be. There shouldn't be a compulsory uniformity in terms of viewpoints.
There never is, no matter how much you try to force it.
I just don't like motherfuckers telling me, like, if it weren't for you, nigga, we'd be free or some shit like that. Come on, man. Cut that shit out, man.
That's what they was saying last night, bro. They're like, yo, who's gonna fucking be the one to get us fucking over the fucking goal line? And
we already are over the goal line. All the stuff that 2.0 was supposed to do has already been goal line. So so basically you're moving the goalpost. So what's the next goal? People have
next goal. Yeah. And I'm telling them, like, yo, you need to follow Obsidian's lead and hone your craft so you can go and engage people outside of the Black manosphere. Because I'm like, at a certain point, you have to understand if it is, in fact, because I even put in a video, there's a Sergeant Willie P put on his community tab this Fox News story where it had this lady who wrote a book, and this white lady's using all the fucking Black manosphere talking points.
Yes.
Right? Talking about Gen Z and they're not having sex and whatever. She's saying everything that we say.
Yes.
So I'm like, yo, so it's like you don't understand. If we're successful, people are gonna use it. it's no purity anymore because of that means because there's no more purity doesn't mean we failed. That means we succeeded.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. A lot of guys here are attention starved. It's like they have attention. It's like, I don't want to say this because I don't want it to come across as super crass.
It is.
But it's like, come on, man. Like, you acting like a woman, man. Like, you need attention like a bitch. Stop it, bro.
Or like a child. Yeah.
Like, nobody has to appoint you like a fucking, like the head of this or like, like honor you. Like, I understand that you motherfuckers want to be honored, but come on, man, bro. Like, look, nigga. You know how many motherfucking great thinkers didn't get their just due until they was dead or whatever the fucking case may be? Like, but there's not a lot of humility either. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I did this shit. I started this shit. Come on, man. Look, you can't copyright ideas, bro. You just can't do it.
Yeah. They think you can.
In the academy, you might be able to say that a person is engaged in plagiarism for taking or borrowing another person's ideas. But even in the academy, you can't stop a motherfucker from re-articulating the idea. It's just impossible.
Yeah. Well,
you can't do it. Now, if you want me to, you want me to take you through fucking copyright law, I can take you through it.
Yeah.
I will do a show on the shit to take you through it and to tell you what you can and what you can't fucking copyright in relation to ideas. Okay? Now, if you put together a fucking, first of all, like the copyright industry is primarily orchestrated or centered around the music and the film industry. Not the social media content creation industry.
Yeah.
It's just not. Or the public sphere. Okay, it's just not. So like even people who like write books, they can copyright the entire book. They can't copyright the ideas in the book.
No, they can't.
You can copyright the book being reprinted in the way exactly that you printed it. But you can't stop a motherfucker from talking about the shit that's in the book, man.
No.
And why would you want to? That's the shit that's fucking killing me. You got niggas who don't want anybody to sing their songs but them.
Nah.
You only want, even in copyright law, you don't have to have permission from the motherfucker who wrote the song to sing it, as long as you make sure that when you cover their song, you give them the proper attribution. Now, if you sample it, that's a whole different matter, okay? That's a whole different form of, like, law or whatever the case may be. But sampling is different from cover music. I can go sing Nirvana today. Smells Like Teen Spirit, and perform the song from beginning to end. As long as I give them attribution and make sure that they get a cut of the publishing off what I produce and get their proper share, I can sing that motherfucker all day. And nobody, and even them won't be able to stop me. And what's worse, we're Hal Yankovic used to do satirical, covers of people's music. He didn't have to pay them shit.
Yeah.
Eat it. He didn't have to pay Mike shit. It's permissible under law to basically do satire on somebody else's shit.
Well, the failure. I think the failure is in the lack of masculine thinking. So when I look at Obsidian, I'm looking at a guy who has done a lot. In terms of copywriting shit, this nigga has run the gamut. He's wrote, he's written shit. You know what I'm saying? So, but he still is forward thinking. He still has not rested on his laurels in a sense, and that's the problem with a lot of men in the Black manosphere. They're afraid to compete, and so this is the trailblazing aspect of Mumia, because he says that's all he talks about is capitalism and competing. He's saying the next wave of the Black manosphere is people in the manosphere learning to compete with the greater and broader sphere of intellectual opponents. That's what he's saying, right? That's how now the manosphere has to grow, is that, like you guys are saying, getting down, understanding the business aspect of it. That's what he talks about, the business aspect of it. Do like Kevin Samuels does, make a business out of this shit. But most of the time, these niggas will call you a coon.
Man, this shit has become so insular to the point where they don't want different type of motherfuckers in it. Like the PhDs, for example. All of the scrutiny associated with being in the space, or the criticism of the space being so-called interloped by people who are useless and non-productive and all of this kind of the other negative epithets. You really don't want the space to grow. You don't give a fuck about growth. You just care about yourself within the context of this space and the attention you grab from it. That's it, man. Or to being able to fucking, compare menstrual cycles with each other. Oh, I'm sad. Oh, I'm sad too. Oh, I saw that movie. I saw it too. And to cry together or some shit. And then to talk about we trauma bonding. You doing the same shit. Motherfuckers trying to elevate the game and say, okay, look, here's where the primary locus of all of the shit that you're experiencing is emanating from. We know where the base is. We know where the evil, where the dragon resides. And we're telling you where it's coming from. Oh, that's useless. We don't give a fuck about it. It's like, dude, I just don't understand the Negroes in this space, man. I don't get them, man. I mean, I do get them, only related to the money and the attention that's associated with the space itself. I can understand that. But if that's all it is, then what the fuck is it to begin with? I thought motherfuckers was trying to, go through arguments. Every time, some shit is going to get contentious here and there, and that's just how men are, okay? It's going to happen. But goddamn, man, this is the public sphere, man. This is not a private institution, man. You understand what I'm saying? This is not a private place, man. Like, we're on YouTube, man. Anybody can see our video. They're public, man. It's not like a private party and shit. Motherfuckers acting like it's a private party. Like only certain people can be admitted and shit. As soon as you hit public on your videos, everybody can see this shit. And everybody can become involved.
Yeah. They're afraid of competition.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. I think that's what
the white MGTOWs were the same way. They were afraid of opening it up to what we call mainstreaming. They don't want the competition of the views.
And you see where it got them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Once ideas get outside of your little confines, they'll spread on their own.
I'm saying this, man. Look, you shouldn't. I'll talk to anybody, even motherfuckers who don't like me or who have like the total opposite viewpoint I have, as long as it's respectful, and motherfuckers don't start blaming and all of this kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not dealing with that bullshit where niggas start being smug and disrespectful and putting the onus on you for all of the ills that we have in the world. I'm not entertaining that fuckery. Because this is exactly what it is. We have explained the emanation of so many fucking problems, or the social scientific explanation for so many of our problems. And all it takes is a motherfucking, you're the problem, you're the reason. This is why we can't do this. To me, that's some bullshit, man. It's a lot of reasons why we are where we are. Not one reason, not one nigga's reason, not a group of niggas' reasons. We really try to tell you that the institutions and the systems are more important. Because the players can change, but the systems and the institutions remain the same. This is what we're trying to explain to you. Soon we try to explain that. No. You ain't holding the line. Okay, bro. All right, man. You go ahead and have your little viewpoints, your ideas, and you can scoff at mine and twist my words or whatever the fuck you want to do. But all I'm trying to tell you is, man, it's deeper out here, man, than what motherfuckers let on. Mm-hmm. It's deeper out here, man. And I'm here for the long game. I'm not here for the short game. I don't give a fuck about your feelings. First of all, I'm a philosopher, man. I don't give a fuck about your feelings anyway. I shouldn't care about your feelings. I should care about the truth. I don't care if it makes me popular or unpopular. I should care about the truth. That's the job of a philosopher, to tell you what you don't want to fucking hear. Even when, you should hear it. And you don't want to hear it, but you're going to hear it today. It just is what it is. That's the whole story, the allegory of the cave. You got a man sitting there in chains. He's let loose from his chains. He turns around and he's blinded. Eventually his eyes adjust to the blinding light, and he realizes that what he thought was true before is not as true. This is all the red pill shit is based upon Plato's allegory of the cave. So he's basically from birth looking at images projected on a wall. Now he sees what the images actually are. They're like flat two-dimensional placards projecting images on the wall in the same way that you can put your fingers together and create like a little bird and see it fly across the the wall when you flap your fingers and shit. So he realizes, oh damn, what I thought was real is not real. Maybe this is more real. This is the reality. But then he's taken to the mouth of the cave and he's blinded even more. And then he realizes, okay, I'm 3 times removed from reality. The images aren't real. The placards aren't real. Shit. There's something real. So he goes out and he sees real birds. Like, God damn, now he's really fucked up in the mind. But guess what ends up happening to him? He has to go back down to the cave, get put back in chains, and explains his new understanding, a newfound, perception of the real world, and it articulated to people who don't even have a clue that they're in fucking chains and they're watching images on a fucking flat 2-dimensional screen or a wall or whatever. And the question is, how are men going to regard him as he explains to them that what they think is real is actually a bunch of bullshit? They're going to hate him. Probably want to kill him or laugh at him, scoff at him, ridicule him. But the point is, it's his job as a philosopher to tell him the truth anyway. Mm-hmm. He has to. It's his duty.
I don't know who it was, but I think it's because I always get Plato and Socrates mixed up, right? But I know that I read some stuff on some Socratic method, but I believe in one part which stood out, because I read stuff, but it's really only certain things that I can utilize that will kind of propel my thinking to a new spheres. Like when he talked about, okay, what is the color green? Because really there's underlying thought, and then there's the descriptions that we have to kind of categorize thought. So it's like when you talk about colors, there's no such thing as green in the sense that that's just what we described it as. We say the word green. There's no such thing necessarily as green, but there is an underlying reality that we're trying to point to by labeling it green, so on and so forth. But there's an interaction with reality that's beyond description, and that sphere of thought. A lot of people don't have that range and to be able to sit, because I think a lot of people don't understand true thought is in images in the first place anyway. That's mostly how I think. I think in images, and then the words come to really round out what I'm actually seeing.
Yeah, you're definitely not a Platonist then. But I mean, because look, okay, so this is what Plato thinks. Okay, people have beliefs, they have opinions, they have knowledge, and then you have understanding, like true understanding, like the kind of a philosophical, like a master of sorts. All right. But he says, like, the first, like, images are fleeting. Like, images aren't real. Images are reflections or emanations of things that are more real. And I'm not a Platonist, okay? I don't believe that Plato's correct, okay? But before that, I would like to say this. I know you confuse Plato with Socrates, but Socrates never wrote anything down. He was just a person who talked and had conversations with people in Athens. Plato is somebody who kind of comes along and was a student of Socrates and wrote some of the things that Socrates said down and developed some thought of his own. So that's how you can distinguish between Socrates and Plato. Plato wrote. Socrates didn't write anything, okay? He was just somebody who was having conversations with various persons in what's called the agora. Like, you know, the place where people came and kicked it with each other in fucking Athens, okay? But anyway, so Plato would basically say that there is a form of green, right? And that everything that is green the extent to which it participates in greenness, which has a form. I know that sounds weird for me to say, but that's just what the fuck he thought, man. Okay. So I could show you an image to try to show you what the fuck all of this is about. But let me see, image. There's a real good one that coincides with the allegory of the cave, and I know it's there somewhere. I just have to find that motherfucker. But yeah, according to Plato, the lowest level of knowledge is imagination. Like, that's the lowest form of understanding. And he thinks, like, you know, stories and allegories are necessary, but like that doesn't get you close enough to understanding what reason would have you understand. So let me show you this shit. I'm gonna copy this, save the image as a PDF or whatever the fuck it is, and I'm gonna show it to you on the screen. Downloads, save, StreamYard. I know it's getting probably a little bit heady and probably going to a place where people would probably not appreciate, but I think it's important. It's just know some shit. I just like knowing shit. So window. Let me cancel that because I did it. Okay, here we go. Share. Can you see this? Can you see it?
Yeah.
So for Plato, there's a divided line, right? So first of all, the world is divided in between the physical material world, and then there's an invisible spiritual world that lies behind it. Or like I wouldn't say it's spiritual, but it's immaterial. It's not made of matter. So you got a formal world and then you got a material world. Now, some people think that this is strange, but I don't think it's strange at all, because most people are Christians in this country anyway. And like, all Christianity is an adaptation of Platonism. I'm sticking with that statement. Okay. So you got the world of material objects, and then you have an immaterial world. Okay. So imagination. So on the one hand, you have metaphysics, which is actual things and being in itself. And then on the other hand, you have understanding or knowledge related to the physical things I won't even say material, but the actual things that exist or that are real. Okay. So you got a metaphysical part of the line, which is on the left, and then you have an epistemological part of the line, which is on the right. All right. Now I know that's kind of heady, but it just is what it is. So on the one hand, you have things that are real, and then you have on the right hand knowledge related to those things, and there's different levels of knowledge. So you have the world. The first is the world of images, which is the shit being projected on the screen in the allegory of the cave. Then you have imagination, painting, sculpture, shadows, reflection, theater, fiction, shit like that. Then he says you have the actual world of objects. Got tables, dogs, trees, cars, and birds. Not images of them, but real dogs and the way that they operate in the real world, okay, and of material objects. But they're not the most real. So he's going to say you have belief about tables, dogs, trees, cars, and birds. All right, that's the kind of knowledge that corresponds to the world of objects. But then you have intellect when it comes to the world of numbers, which numbers in the Platonic scheme are more real than physical objects. And the formal world, which is like the real world of being, is where all the forms exist, which are, like the things that give the qualities to the things in the world. Okay. I personally think this is stupid. That's my viewpoint on it. But to some degree, I understand it. One of the things he does is he basically says that there's different levels of knowledge and different ways to discern whether or not somebody can say that they're in possession of knowledge or not. Okay, so I think that's a good thing, but I think it's a horrible metaphysical and an epistemological scheme. That's just my opinion, okay? Now, I like Aristotle more than I like Plato in terms of his viewpoint on metaphysics and epistemology. I think he's better than Plato is. That's just my opinion, though. Okay?
So Plato didn't necessarily stay true to supposedly what Socrates was laying out.
Socrates didn't write anything down. Socrates was a philosopher who was killed for corrupting the youth in impiety. All right, and many of the things that Plato espoused, one can draw some of it directly from Socrates, but I mean, where Socrates ends and Plato begins, who's to say with any degree of certainty? I mean, fuck, the dude was writing fucking 300 BC and shit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't say with any certainty who knows exactly, like what contribution Socrates made versus the ones that, Plato introduced himself. But if a motherfucker writes something down versus, like word of mouth, you can concretely say that, okay, Plato, you gotta ascribe more authority to Plato than to Socrates, because at least there's a record of what Plato actually said. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So at the end, I think Kant, like this brother here says, empiricist. Like Kant, I don't think Kant is an empiricist. I think he's an idealist, but that's just my viewpoint. But I think he's more empiricist than Plato. But there's reasons why I think that. But at the end of the day, this is the first foray into fucking red pill shit. Like the red pill, the Matrix is based on this shit. And the people who created it, they'll tell you that. It's the first epistemological, in the Western tradition anyway, like it's the first story of like who knows and who doesn't know. And what they know versus what they don't know. Now, and according to philosophers, like in order for you to be in possession of knowledge, you have to have a belief that's true and you have to be able to justify it. That's the demand. Okay? And I don't see that I don't see that in this space and most spaces in this country, man. Motherfuckers just, I believe, I feel, and this is it. Mm-hmm. If you don't feel like I feel, fuck you. Okay, bro. Yeah. All right, man. But my goal is, I do draw inspiration though from Plato to a certain extent, because at least he's willing to say, you got to stick to your guns. Because you got to think, man, some of the people who are actually accurate were murdered for being accurate about what they believed in and what they were able to justify. Like Galileo, they fucking put that man on house arrest and threatened to kill him for saying that the earth wasn't the center of the universe. Mm-hmm. He had to retract that shit. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, man. They'll kill somebody who doesn't conform to their viewpoint. And philosophy, they were gonna kill Aristotle, but he ran. He was like, fuck that. I ain't gonna allow the Athenians to sin on philosophy twice. I'm out of here. They killed Socrates, they ain't gonna kill me.
So all his learning. So I guess when I was trying to describe my thinking process. See, sometimes I can't tell whether or not I read something or this is something that I just know to be true. And I can't really tell the dividing line between the two. So in terms of saying whether in 99.9% of the time I'm right about what it is that I'm thinking. And not to say because I'm right, but it just proves out based on what other people, when I come in contact with other people, like, oh, they're proving the thoughts that I was already thinking in a lot of cases.
Well, we all have intuition. My intuitions are this. I know it sounds crazy, man. Black people, man, more than anything else, they need a culture. And at present, we really don't have one. And what we did have, we pretty much let go for the sake of integration. And it's killing us at the current moment. Like, and so I can agree to some degree with those people who are like, well, we should have been about industry and thrift. And fuck all of this, like all of this, pursuit of higher education and all of this. So I get that point because there's a culture we left behind in favor of being integrated into white society. We did. I mean, even if we were only kind of like to some degree imitating their culture. But all our parallel institutions we gave away in favor of like being honored and recognized by them. And like at the current moment, man, there's a war between black men and women on who's going to be recognized by white people the most. But it's like I'm like that shit. Like black women don't understand, man. Like I saw a clip from Compassionate. I forget what I forget his. Callous. Yeah, he basically did a clip with I think Dr. Thunder was talking about something that Dr. Neal said. And basically it was like black women don't understand, man, that like after it's all said and done, they gonna fucking like, they gonna scapegoat them people, man. They're gonna blame you for Americans' failures. And they're gonna say, well, it's because we allowed all of these mongrels, these stupid ass nigger bitches. Not saying that that's how I think about them, but that's what they're gonna say. We allowed these incompetent Negro bitches into our most prestigious institutions and they fucking degraded them.
Green Gorilla, Dr. Neal came out with a new book yesterday.
Huh? Say what now?
He said
Dr. Neal came out with a new book. He came out with a new book yesterday. It was posted on his community tab. He came out with a new book.
Oh,
Dr.
for sure.
Neal.
I already know. He's, we got the forecast a minute ago. So, for sure though. I mean, look, at the end of the day, all I can say is this, bro. They blame black men for the same shit, but they didn't really allow black men into the institutions initially because they said that, like if you do it, then that's gonna be the end of the fucking white race. So that's where you got the like the birth of a nation and all of that kind of shit, which gave birth to the Klan and all of this, and segregation and Jim Crow and all of that. Okay, so now we get rid of it, and then white women take the place, and then black women are like, well, I want the spot too. Okay, so now we got them in the spots and shit, and now they're just starting to pick them apart. One thing about tokens is, man, we never should have been pushing for tokenism to begin with. It's the bankruptness of like wokeness, if you ask me, is that it's based on tokenism and representation and recognition. Fuck that shit, man. Like, give me some bread, man. Give me some resources. Give me the tangible shit. Fuck all this acknowledgement and you want a basic amount of it so they don't get to kill you. But I mean, like, come on, man. You got motherfuckers in like the black girl in Harvard, man, that plagiarized part of her shit. She ain't the only one doing that, man. You understand what I'm saying? Not me. I'm too arrogant to plagiarize anybody's shit. That's just me, though. I'm too fucking arrogant. I think I am too intellectual to take anybody's shit. Or intelligent. I don't feel like I need anybody to hold my hand through that shit. So I won't take nobody's shit unless it's within the parameters of the rules. I have a quote myself. I say, look, you steal one man's thoughts, you're a plagiarist. You steal 1,000, you're a genius. You steal 1,000 thoughts and put them in footnotes in the context of a book and to create new thought, or, you're kind of reiterating an argument related to it, you're a genius. But if you take one man's thoughts and you kind of corrupt it and try to rephrase it just as your own, you biting, man. You jacking.
But I wanted to go back to that. Based on what you're saying now, in terms of the how we see ourselves as black people, and our the black women versus the black men being recognized as the holder and the keeper of what is essentially black. I think what we're missing is that it's not necessarily well, we could frame it in a way moving forward. It's not about you as a man or me as a woman. It's about developing a narrative that is going to work. And so what I'm saying is essentially is that women have more of an ideological view of what blackness is, more of an image base, and men have more of a tangible core as to what blackness is. So essentially, the politics of black women are stagnant in the sense is that they are dealing with the politics of image, right? As long as you recognize me, I'm fine with that. And so that's where the sense of tokenism can come in, because they're fine with being recognized because that's more aligned with the female nature. But when you look at who we are as our images, who we are as black people, more from a tangible sphere, you look at, okay, look at all the contributions that black people have made economically and socially. Then from there, we say, okay, this is who we are. Not in terms of just of our image, because we can just have that within ourselves, what our image is. But when we engage the broader society, hey, this is the contributions that we've made to humanity. Look at us based on that basis, not just on the basis of, okay, we want you to recognize who we are, our Africanness and our our African Americanness, and in comparison to whiteness. Look at what our contributions are, and I think that's, for me, that's where my fight and battle with them is that.
Well, I think look, I think what BGS said was significant. And when he talked about schooling and education, okay? We're not educating ourselves. Who's educating these so-called black super women, or whatever the case may be, these magical women? It ain't black teachers in a segregated society who's getting them to look out for the collective or to understand that their interests are connected together. That's not what you're getting. You're getting gender science or gender studies and some shit like that. That's not something that the people in the past was onto. This is something that works to the benefit of these people, man.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it does work to the benefit of a certain class of black women. You can't deny it.
Mm-hmm.
If the goal is to get the bag and to get attention for getting the bag or to have a title, then it fits the interest of a certain cadre of black women. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
So if the goal is to show everybody that I'm magical and I want a piece of what the patriarchy gives to white men or whatever the case may be, and I deserve to be here and I'm capable and able to function just as much as anybody else, that works. If a more popra is what your goal or your aim is. But then again, what good is it if you just get it and in order to get it, you have to lose a piece of who you are. You know what I'm saying? I remember Paul Dunbar's, I think it's Paul Dunbar's, We Wear the Mask. You ever heard of that?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, poem by Paul Dunbar. And it's we wear the mask that grins and lies and hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile, with torn and bleeding hearts we smile, and mouth with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them see us while we wear the mask. It's like it's like haughty, arrogant, attention seeking, recognition. It's all about recognition. The politics of recognition is destroyed.
Yeah.
And it's not recognition on a racial base. It's recognition on an intersectional base, which is a fractured. It's a balkanized form of recognition that plays into oppression politics in such a way that it doesn't do anything but turn the so-called oppressed group in on each other. It's what it does. Okay? And so I myself, man, I want to, start getting into the intricacies of this in a more in-depth way than what I can give to on the fly. through like a live. So I eventually what I'm gonna have to end up doing is doing what them dudes this old bread tube is doing. I got to. Cause I mean this shit right here ain't gonna stick. You gotta dig like a needle in a haystack to find in a live something, substantive, unless you just do the live in a way that you would kind of like do with a pre-recorded video. But then you're gonna have to get a whole new audience because people here they probably won't listen that long. They probably I don't know if their attention spans are that long. I just don't know. So I know my attention span, man. I almost been doing this shit for 3 hours. I'm about to break the mold and make me a hamburger, man, and some fries and shit.
But
Yeah, that's that the one thing like their whole narrative and politics creates words like white gay, right? Like that is fucking useless to the black struggle. Is talking about inventing words to kind of cement. They're kind of cementing white supremacy in order to for this visibility politics to work. They have to solidify the whiteness and their interpretation of life. So they're actually more embedding us more into a kind of a mental slavery than we were to begin with, in order to do this image-based politics of visibility. What happens essentially.
Peep game, man. So look, and I want to respond to this. Recognition is how people establish individuality. My viewpoint on it is this: if you want recognition of a substantive kind, you have to get it inside of the context of a community. You can't get recognition outside of the context of a community in any substantive way whatsoever. Because they don't know you. Right. If you want to be recognized, you can only be recognized by people who fucking know you and interact with you. That's the only way you get recognition. You can't get recognition just based upon a title you got, or a job that you have, or because you belong to a certain group. So I'm a black woman who is handicapped or queer or whatever. That's not going to get you recognition. You only get recognition inside of a real, living, breathing community who can either accept or reject you based upon how you behave and whether or not you're a positive impact on the community that you belong to. But what these people are asking, tokenism is not recognition, man. It's not. They might see you or give you accolades, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're really actually recognizing you for who you are. And I think that's at the heart of what especially a lot of black men feel fucked up about, is that they don't feel recognized. But you can't just be recognized outside of a community. You can't be recognized as a identity formation. It's not recognition. It's not. The only way a motherfucker can recognize you is to fucking interact with you and to know who the fuck you actually are.
Yes.
That's the only way you can be recognized. Like going to work, being recognized because you fit a category is not recognition.
Yep. But that goes into the whole framework that, okay, this is green, but who said that was green in the first place? So you know what I'm saying, for you to base your whole reality based on a determination that this is green, but first you have to look at, okay, what is the basis of them determining that this was green in the first place? So I think black women are relying too heavily on white interpretation, as you're saying, of who they are, and really the problem is that they don't rely enough on black men, right? I mean, black men are the one thing, we're the one aspect they had not turned to in order to bolster their image, because they say that they don't need us. They don't need us to reaffirm who they are in the world. right? When we say when we say we love their natural hair, they're saying, oh, you know what I'm saying? You just want me to be fucking ugly, you know? So now, okay, you don't want my word for it. Now you got to go to the white man, and then you say shit like, oh, when a white man sees my beauty, he really means it and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's like bullshit.
Man, look here. This is the thing that's got people fucked up, and it's why it's important for some people to start examining the ideas that these people are living by, or you know, the ideals rather. Like, this is why, like, everybody to some degree, because we're social animals, we need to be recognized. Okay. Now, it's true that you can be misrecognized. But the only way you can actually, now there is some truth to the idea that you can be misrecognized to such an extent that it creates danger to your psyche, or like it debilitates your self-esteem. Okay. But goddamn, bro, like, I mean, the way that they're moving with this, the kind of like, I want to be recognized as human. I think we're at that point right now where, you know, in this country anyway, like, if you're gay, you're going to be perceived as human. Like, you're not going to be looked at as like fucking hated anymore.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, even gay people in Black America have been acknowledged in ways that, you know, we can't deny. You can't say Bayard Rustin was not acknowledged. He might not have been on the front, but you can't say he wasn't acknowledged. You can't say that, like, the brother, man, you know, who wrote The Fire Next Time. You know who his name is, man. You can't say that brother wasn't recognized. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't say he wasn't. You can't say James Baldwin wasn't fucking recognized. You just can't say it.
Right.
Now, I mean, do you want to be recognized and acknowledged in the exact way that you want? Maybe not. Okay. Now, maybe you weren't recognized because of your sexuality, but you were recognized for your ideas and your thoughts related to blackness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But now, well, I can't extricate my blackness from my gayness, from my, you know, my womanness, from my handicappedness, my ableness. It's like, look, man, these categories are really artificial to begin with.
Yes.
The categories, I mean, male and female is not artificial, but like the categories of, you know, they're basically legal. They're legal categories that were defined in the 60s through legislation. So that's why you see people like using them now for leverage in the market. That's all this shit is, man. People using this shit for leverage in the market and in the academy, bro. It is what it is, man. But you know what, man?
But speaking of that, GG, it's like this. Like Amos was said, one thing Europeans mastered that Black people have understand is define definitions. You get me? He's always redefine things. When you go to these institutions, you have to be and accept his definition instead of deal with your own way of interpreting things. The world sees it.
But that's the cornerstone of Carter G. Woodson's argument about black people, and he's basically like, to him, everything that we're doing now is miseducation. Like I definitely think that he would say that, like, black folks giving up their parallel institutions and trying to do everything that white people are doing. He would say, like even the brother, I did a video a long time ago with the brother, man, who is same gender loving. His name is Cleo Monago. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember him, yeah.
Long time ago, man, he created the term same gender loving to get away from the gay shit.
Yeah.
And he wanted to get away from the queer shit because he didn't like the way black people were being drawn towards queerness or the LGBTQ shit. And it kind of meant that, like, as they were doing this, they were removing themselves away from blackness.
Right.
So, you know, like, it's another way to extricate yourself from niggerness by being queer. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So he's like, okay, I'm SGL, which means that I'm still thinking collectively about race in a traditional sense, But I'm still like, I like, you know, I mean, that's his words. He still like fucking dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But I mean, I think that to him, queerness is just a way to, you know, kind of identify with whiteness and to remove oneself from blackness.
Mm-hmm.
To argue, you know, in some way you're less ontologically inferior by being queer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and see how that's working out for them. Just to look at your nigga, but on a queer side, Negro.
Man, Dr. Johnson said this shit a long time ago, man. They turn on mascots too, man. Like black women are mascots for white feminists. They turn on their asses too, man.
Yeah,
but having said all that,
let me say this about that Fannie Willis thing, man. Shit, once I found out who her father was, right, that this is an internationally renowned fucking lawyer, like, and then you fucking have the nerve in one of the highest positions in the nation that most human beings will never fucking be in, and then you start touting off this fucking black female victimization shit. I'm like, bitch, y'all motherfuckers lost y'all fucking mind, bro. You know.
But you know what? Look. So at the end of the day, man, like the Claudine Gay chick at Harvard, man, like they, you know, like if you start fucking around with these folks, man. But I mean, the attack came from the left. From the right against her and her. But I mean, you know. But you was tripping though. She did plagiarize, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of white people plagiarize as well. Like even the dude Bloom, I think not Lawrence Bloom. I can't remember the Bloom dude's first name, but he's the one that kind of like attacked her and shit. But his wife did some plagiarism of goddamn self. So, but me, I don't see the point in plagiarizing. I just think it's low class. And in fact, it was a black gay dude at the institution. He was a fucking head of the department where I was, you know, an assistant professor. Man, they fucking canned him for plagiarism. I was like, damn, you making niggas look bad. You think I'm making niggas looking bad because I checked the bitch. You making these motherfuckers look bad because you have no fucking career integrity. You can't take a motherfucker's thoughts and then present them just as your own. You understand? Especially in the academy. Now, you can say that you're using this person's ideas, but you can't say that you originate them by yourself. But there's no law against you using somebody else's ideas or repeating their thoughts. You don't have to pay them a royalty for that. You just don't have to do it, man. So, but anyway, man, look, man, it was a short bus Saturday on a Sunday because I couldn't do it Saturday. I was so fucking tired. And then I've been a little bit sick, you know what I'm saying? So, been blowing my nose and coughing and hagging up and all kind of stuff like that. So,
are we getting a short bus? Are we getting a short bus next Saturday?
Maybe. I think I need to move it to Sunday, man. I think I need to move short bus Saturday to Sunday because it buys me more time. Like on a Saturday, my schedule on Saturday, man, like I work throughout the night, and then when I come home, man, the last thing I want to do is, you know, like have to rush and do a show. You know what I'm saying? I want to fucking rest. You know what I'm saying? And then get to the show when I can get to it. And it's better for me to do it on Sunday than it is Saturday. But
yeah, I think a city on last week's Sunday, so I think Sunday will make more sense. You might have called it "Let's Ride the Bus on Sunday."
Yeah, man. Yeah, ride the bus on Sunday. Ride the short bus Saturday on Sunday. I had to do a new theme music or something. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm gonna get some food, man.
So peace out to y'all, man. And look, we gonna explore this idea about what green is, man, on the next short bus, man.
All right.
For sure, man. Y'all be peaceful, man. I'll holler at y'all later, man.
All right, man.
Peace.